Alright, we are now live. What's up, everyone? How's everyone doing? We did have a bit of people in the pre-stream chatting it up, so what is up? We got Drebler Gaming, Get Good Greggy, Mike1360, Colin Schultz, Lucky X Gaming, Master Singleton, a lot of familiar faces. Who else do we have? I'm on tech, of course. Did I say Get Good Greggy already? My memory's getting very bad. I can't remember things I just said like a couple seconds ago. Mr. Mini Me, and a few others. I think Waldo was here too. But what's up? All right. J1S says, should I buy membership? Well, the lowest membership level is $1, and for the most part, I want all the membership perks to be relatively similar. Like, however much people can support it, it's great. If people can support with more or less, I don't want to give people like that much better perks. But for the most part, the membership, you get the emojis as well as discount to merch. So I don't know, it's up to you. Membership is optional, it's not required. But yeah, I do want to build up more emotes with the membership stuff. You get the membership badge as well, and think of other perks that I could give to members. But we got Sut Mig, who just joined membership. Speaking of, thank you for joining the Nerd on a Tight Budget fam. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Christopher Kunin? Welcome to the stream. What's up? What am I eating? Okay, so we were just talking about rice in the pre-stream, and if you're new around here, we will get into the tech talk and like looking for deals and stuff. But in the first like 5 to 10 minutes, we just hang out. This is like the equivalent of other streamers putting their like starting soon screen, where it's literally just music playing and like some kind of moving background. But I actually like being here when the stream starts. I don't want to just put a starting soon screen. So we just kind of talk and hang out. But we were just talking about rice before stream started and rice cooking and stuff. But right now I'm eating Japanese curry, which is chicken. So it's got the Japanese curry sauce with chicken, carrots and potatoes, as well as my famous patented freezer rice. So this rice came from a bag that I froze, because we keep freezer rice on hand for when we run out of rice or we like didn't realize we need to cook rice. You can pop it in the microwave for like a minute, 2 minutes, and then you have rice that you can't even tell it was frozen. So that's what I'm eating right now. I have not really eaten much today, and I realized at the last moment that I was starving and it was close to when stream started. So that's why I have to eat a little bit at the beginning of the stream right now, so I don't faint and die. Kyle Holt donated $2. Buy myself some chips. Will do, Kyle. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Sutton Make says, thanks for being a cool and humble guy. Thank you for your membership, and thanks for the kind words. It's really hard to like comment or react to when people say nice things about you, because I don't know, it feels a little bit awkward because like you're saying good things about me and then it's like, am I supposed to acknowledge it and then pat myself on my own back? But yeah, thanks for the kind words though. You have an Intel Arc t-shirt, Chris? Where'd you get one of those from? Okay. Iker Chavez says, hey, Nerd on a Budget, any good website to buy PC parts from? Do you mean, what kind of PC parts are you talking about? New, used? Are you in the US? All that matters. Yes! Okay, so Drebler Gaming. Maybe we can do Smash tonight. The controller came in. I got a PC USB GameCube controller. It's a generic brand, but whatever. So that maybe we can do Smash tonight on stream, hopefully. I tried playing some matches. I got a little bit of lag playing against randoms, but maybe we can try that out. So yeah, at the end of stream, get that going. If anyone else has a Slippy set up, maybe I can do matches against viewers as well. But yeah. Chris, came straight from Intel Logistics. Are you working with them on anything? Or like, I guess, do you know people on the inside from Intel? I guess I'm curious. Like, what were the steps you took to get that shirt? Because I don't think anyone could just get that shirt, so. Let's see. Nope, you say thank you and move on. Agreed. YouTube Rage Monster says, am I the only one that doesn't have a PC here? I'm pretty sure there's quite a few people in the in the community in general that come to the stream that are watching on their phones or on like a laptop that's not a gaming PC. No, this is not. Oh wait, yeah, this is a power A controller actually. Yeah, you're right. It is power A, so it feels a little bit lighter. It's not as heavy as a GameCube controller, but way better than trying to play Smash on an Xbox controller. Like, I tried playing Smash on this thing, it was horrible. So this is a nice middle ground between a legit expensive controller and like, this was 22 bucks or something. But yeah. David O'Connor says, just got a 970 today, but might need a new CPU. You have a 3200G. The 3200G wouldn't hold back a 970 too much. I would say that those are a decent pairing together. Of course, it depends on what title you're playing. If you're playing a CPU-intensive title, then yeah, a CPU would be a good upgrade. But I guess of the two, if I were to upgrade one or the other, the 3200G would be the next one to go, since the 970 is new to you. So, am I gonna sandbag again? No, I'm not. What's for snack? So, it's not even a snack right now, Zia. I'm literally eating like a pre-stream meal because I haven't eaten yet. I got too distracted today and was not able to eat. Is a 2080 for 250 a scam on eBay? Yeah, I would say that's definitely a scam. 1080 or 2080s, I don't see them going below like 400 bucks anytime soon. I can take a look real quick, but yeah, RTX 2080 prices haven't gotten that good yet. They're good, but not that good yet. Either that or it's a like 4 parts listing. But we can take a look. Or if it's on bid, then that's a different thing too. But buy it now. I'm not seeing any 2080s for less than. Yeah, I'm seeing parts only for like 400 bucks. So that the one that you're talking about, something seems up with that. What am I? Yeah. So I mean, this I already said it earlier. This is Japanese curry and rice. What else? How much does RAM megahertz matter for gaming? Well, it makes sense more. This will make sense later if you happen to look at my build, not expecting me to. Okay, so you have 2666 megahertz of RAM. Honestly, between that and 3200 megahertz, are you on Ryzen by chance? There's gonna be a difference, but honestly, I don't think it's that big of a difference for people to worry about. If you already have the RAM, then there's nothing you can do about it. If you're about to buy new RAM or like upgrade your RAM now, then of course you want to aim for above 3000 megahertz. Preferably like 32 or 3600 megahertz. That's pretty much the norm now. But if you have 2666, I wouldn't pay for a new set of RAM just to get higher like speeds, if you get what I'm saying. Like, if the frame rate of your system is good enough now, you're not gonna really notice the difference. Even if we're talking about 10% performance, let's say if you're already pushing like 120 FPS, is 132 FPS gonna be that noticeable for you? And is it worth buying a whole new kit of RAM for? I wouldn't say so. But yeah, that's my take on it. And then we got J1S, just became a Nerd on a Tight Budget member. Thank you for that. Which, by the way, let's get into that. So here is all the channel members that we have right here. So big shout out to the channel members for helping support what I do. We have all the different tiers, which this is like the $4.99 tier, this is the $2.99 tier, and then this is the 99-cent tier at the bottom, which we have a ton of supporters there. So thank you for everyone who does support the channel through the membership. You do get the emotes, so if you're in the stream, you can go to where the typical emote section is, and there's a bunch to choose from. I just added 2 of them today. We added the Plus Ultra Green Nerd, which is actually the membership badge for people who reach 6 months, as well as just the plain NOAB, as per suggestion of one of the members. But yeah, that just makes the stream a little bit more fun. We have more customized emotes, as well as you get discount on upcoming merch, which the next merch drop I'm hoping will be this weekend. So you'll get a discount code in the community tab for the discount of merch there. So you save more money than you spend on the 99-cent membership. But anyways, Livid says, I'm not late for once. You're not late. Welcome to the stream. We're still pretty early on stream. So let's see. I should look at Streamlab donations. Streamlabs? You mean Stream Elements? Wait, did I get a donation through Stream Elements? Let me take a look. Because when those come in, those pop up on the stream too. I don't know why it hasn't popped up yet right now. It's 1 a.m. here in Ireland, says David O'Connor. Thank you for staying up to watch this stream. Let me log into my Stream Elements though, just to make sure I didn't miss a dono, because I would feel bad if I did. I did not get any Stream Elements things today. So I wonder if there's something wrong with the system. Hey, Mentality Ash, welcome to the Nerd on a Tight Budget membership fam. What's up? If you are gonna keep dropping merch, better not carry any glass merch. What do you mean by that? Oh, dropping merch? Yeah, I get what you mean now. Don't drop it as in it will break. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so as we've been doing, I think for the longest time now, graphics cards have been the most part of what people care about. We have been looking at like RAM, CPUs, and stuff like that too. But I always want to do a price check at the beginning of every stream, just in case people are definitely looking for that. That's usually the most missing part of people's builds, as they're waiting for prices to come down. So we'll start off the stream taking a look through that, and then as always, what we'll do is we'll go into the membership, or not membership, sorry, the viewer submissions. So don't post on Twitter yet, but when I give you the signal to, then post on Twitter either your setups that you want to showcase, your PC part picker build list, any questions you have specifically, things like that. If you want to look at a pre-built from a website, post it to Twitter, and you need to @ me, as well as put the hashtag NOAB streams. That's all in the description. That way we can have people who are actively watching streams have their questions answered, and not someone who submitted something at the beginning of the stream and then had to go, and then all of a sudden I'm answering a question for someone who isn't even there. All right, so let's see. Is the 10400 good? Yes, the 10400F is very good in terms of like a processor. I would still build with the 10400 right now, despite it being 2 generations old. But thanks for the super chat. And what's up, Danny Carbajal? Got that right, hopefully. Okay, so we got the green screen, which means I will be a floating head this week when we switch over. But J1S says, hey, can you tell me a good RTX or GTX card under 350 bucks? For under 350 bucks, a good GTX card, I would say, is if you can find like a GTX 1070 for around 250 bucks. There's no RTX cards under 350 right now, unfortunately. Even though, I take that back. If you're looking for a current gen, there's no RTX, like RTX 3050 is the lowest end current offering from Nvidia. Those are still going for like 380, which is really expensive considering they're supposed to go for 250. So if you had less than 350 bucks to spend, if you really want Nvidia for whatever reason, you have to kind of look back towards a GTX 1070. Maybe if you're lucky, get a 1080. Otherwise, I think you can find a RX 6600 from AMD side for less than 350. But all right, let's go to invisible head time. So now my shirt is also green screened, and I will be a floating head and arms. But okay. Yeah, so like someone in chat right now, Noah Riemann says, oh, you said AMD or GTX? Yeah, there are, let me see how much these are going for, because we're going to get into the graphics card price checks right now. So we're going to start with Newegg just because, you know, it's readily available parts. It's not like a one-off deal like eBay usually is. So if more people needed to get to these, they can. But, let's see. So Sutmig says, you EVGA RTX 2060 6 gigs on eBay for $320. Yeah, that sounds about the going rate for those, which is near how much what they launched for. But let's take a quick look at what we have here for current gen. Let me see if I can sort by current gen, which I believe we can. I thought they had, yeah, desktop graphics cards. Yeah, so we're gonna go the last generation or two of graphics cards from both NVIDIA and AMD and sort by lowest price. But new and used PC parts for $1,000 PC build. Iker Chavez. We did one of those builds the last week. What you're gonna be looking at for $1,000 is like an RX 6600 and like a i5, like a 10400. If you can find enough deals, you can fit in a 12400 Intel. But everything else is pretty standard pricing, like 1 terabyte of SSD, 16 gigabytes of like 3200 megahertz RAM, whatever case you want. You can fit that into $1,000. You should wear a green hoodie, then put a green blanket on your chair. Yeah, is this tripping up anyone, by the way? The fact that you can see stuff like on me. Mentality Ash says, how much is the RTX? Okay, Mentality Ash, are you looking to buy or sell that? Because there's a big difference. Like, I give people semi-different advice depending on if they're trying to be a buyer or a seller. So, oh man, people with the donos asking for prices. Is 1400 good for a 3080 12 gigabyte? So that's kind of hard to answer. I'll get to that, but let me look at these prices first, because if we look at a 3080 on Newegg, I think that's still really high. That's double what MSRP was. We know MSRP is not really like a good standard to go by anymore, just because that simply isn't what cards are going for. But I mean, you're asking for a 12 gigabyte 3080 for $1,400, which we're already looking at right here. Newegg has ones for $1,299. This is the 12 gigabyte model. This is so $1,400. I don't know which model you're looking at specifically, but I mean, the prices definitely they have to go down. There's no way 3080s are going to stay at like this $1,400, $1,300 like inflated price. Everything else is gonna come down, and these, I am sure these will come down. This is not a normal price. So yeah. Let's see. So let's look at the cheap prices for now, just to get an idea of what they are. So I think these were the same prices we were seeing, like 225, 230-ish for the really entry-level 6500 XTs. As you get more expensive, obviously these aren't going to be worth it. Like, we're getting into like almost $300 6500 XTs here. So definitely not that good of prices. But back here is not too bad. I'm still waiting for the day for these to actually hit $200. It has to come at some point, because these aren't that popular. So yeah, taking another 10% off might make them a little bit more appealing. I personally still wouldn't want to go for them. But we do see a price, like a pretty nice hop up. It's a ROG Strix card, says ZapZ. Are you trying to buy this brand new? Where is this at? Like Newegg or something? Let me know, because that makes a difference. But yeah, so we start to get into the 6600s, which these MSRP'd, remember, at $330. So yeah, we get to so this is only $40 over MSRP, but as I've stated several times in the past, when you start getting into add-in board partner like cards with their own custom coolers on it, there's always a markup anyways. So these prices are not bad. They probably will still drop, but it's a matter of, are you gonna wait a couple of months to save $40, or are you gonna get your computer built like next week? So big difference there. We did see the RTX 3050 here for $350. Still 100 over MSRP. Would be nice to see these go down to like, I don't know, maybe like the 280. Under 300, I think would be nice to see these at. So we're looking at Best Buy new. Okay, so let's take a look at that now, since ZapZ is donating like each time he messages something or they message something. So let's take a look at Best Buy RTX 3080 Strix. And is that going to be the lowest price that we can find for this? This is the 10 gigabyte model. Where's the 12? So yeah, I'll check out people's PC part list in a bit when we get to that portion of the Twitter. So, all right, for $13.99. Is this the cheapest 3060 that we could find? 3080 rather. No one else has it cheaper. Where's the shopping? I mean, if you really like the price of the card, Newegg has the tough version for $100 cheaper. I'm curious what the cheapest 3080 is right now. Honestly, this one's kind of hard because I'm typically one who goes for performance, and I don't like usually paying premiums for specific models of cards, especially when there are ones where you can literally save like $100. Sometimes you save like $200. The Strix cards specifically, they carry a premium on them. Their performance doesn't always reflect the premium that you pay. Just because you pay another 10-15% for it, you're not paying for that necessarily in terms of like the clock speed improvements or the performance improvements. You're really paying for the Asus ROG Strix ecosystem, which they have their own RGB controller stuff, and the aesthetics of the card. So, I mean, it's up to you. I'm not going to fault anyone for wanting their PC to come out a certain way aesthetically. But another $100 when there are 3080s going for less, I wouldn't personally buy it, but I mean, I'm not seeing anything cheaper. So if you want that, you can go ahead. Dang, there's some obvious scams on the on my browser right now though. Like they're a 3080 Ti for $999. That doesn't seem real. But yeah, that's my take on it. And then Mentality Ash says, oh, they want to sell. Mentality Ash wants to sell the RTX 2080. Honestly, I would just go based on eBay. It's kind of hard though. Dave 2D will spend twice as much for the right color. I know, right? Like, honestly, if you want a certain aesthetic, you can pay more for it. But let's look for RTX 2080s. Mentality Ash, you are in the UK, it looks like, because you're donating in pounds. So, I'm not going to look at specifically the AMP edition, but we're starting to see 2080s. So remember, when you look through eBay, you gotta be a little careful. Not all the prices. Well, first of all, we got a bunch of these parts only, so they're selling cards that aren't working or have faults. So you gotta go past that to the pre-owned cards right here, which this one looks like it's in working condition. This is dual. This is like a more plain looking 280. It's going for $555. I'm just blinded now by the white screen. But this looks like a legit seller. They've got rating. There's let's see, there's free shipping. So I would use $555 as a basis. Now you have the Zotac Amp one, which I would think is a slightly nicer card. So anywhere between $500 to $600 seems like a fair price. Hope that helps. Yeah, please turn on dark mode. Yeah, I don't know why that page did not have dark mode enabled. I do have dark mode on, but when I do this, it flips it. So, my browser's being weird right now. But we got dark mode on this screen. Any deals? Oh, dude. So Matrix Boy asks, any deals on a 3070 Founders Edition? So Founders Edition cards, the only other place I've seen it being sold other than Nvidia. So let's see, 3070 Founders Edition. We're gonna take a look. I doubt this will be in stock by Nvidia. See all buying options. So these were, wow, if only we could actually get it for $500. But we're gonna look at the all buying options. So they're out of stock, obviously. The 3070 Ti was supposed to be $599. We're gonna click on the availability. So Best Buy has been the only place I've seen carry the 3070 Founders Edition. And And they do their drops every so often, like every couple of weeks. I'm not sure how often they've been doing their drops though. I haven't heard of them recently, but either buy it from Best Buy or, well, that's the only place that NVIDIA even points to. So you have to keep an eye on Best Buy stock. It's either this or buying it secondhand in the secondhand market, which people are definitely going to be charging more than $500 for a used 3070. No, I don't really have any other leads though in terms of where to look. I think they'll be easier to get in the coming months as people, the shortage is being alleviated right now. Graphics cards are getting easier to find. So if you are like dead set in getting a Founders Edition card, just wait a little bit as they become less like rare. Okay, floating eyes with glasses, exactly right. Let's see. So going back to the prices though, we gotta go up in NOAB before I got a little bit derailed there. We're seeing similar prices as last week. We do have some bundle deals. Ryzen 5500. This is interesting. We did not see this last week. So we got a Ryzen 5500. Were these ever sold by themselves? Oh wait, no, this is a new release. What am I saying? What is the MSRP of this? So the MSRP of that is supposed to be $160. So you're getting a 60. Oh, you got a 6500 XT though. So you're getting a $200 6500 XT and then like a $160 graphics card. Oh, and CPU. So, this one, it's priced accordingly. You're actually getting a $200 6500 XT, but would you still want it is the question. If you're okay with that, and yeah, the 5500 being 160, it's 200 for the 5600, right? And then 5600 XTs are now down to like 220, 230. So this would be for like if you're kind of on a tighter budget and definitely are going for like the lower binned parts. But let's see. Oh, Darthings, welcome to the Nerna budget, Nerna big budget member. Thank you for that. I'll get that all updated in the next week's shout out. But thank you for joining the membership. Feel free to use the emotes all you want. Okay. A crap card with a mediocre CPU for the right price. I mean, Chris, we're talking about from a retailer here. We're not talking about like super good used deals on the secondhand market that you can't replicate like 100 times over. Like, as much as I love deal hunting and finding great deals on parts, telling 100 people to go after like one eBay listing that happens to be priced right is not really ideal. Like, you have to be considerate of the fact that there's not enough amazing deals out there to satisfy every hard hunting deal hunter, if that makes sense. Like, if someone bought this, I wouldn't fault them on the CPU side of things. I would kind of question the 6500 XT, but it's there for those who are on a tight budget and can't find a $200 graphics card and don't want to go used, obviously. Let's see. Why is your shirt invincible? It's invisible because I have a green screen, and I decided to wear a green shirt so I could be a floating head for today's stream. That's why. But let's see. So yeah, we have those. Sorry, we're scrolling through a lot because I had to make the font size bigger so we could like see this easier. But the next 6500 XT, we're not gonna see that for until, if it's like last week, 6600 XT. Is it not even on this page? Yeah, it's not even on this page, so we gotta go beyond. They do have 2060s here. I wouldn't grab those deals. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so the cheapest 6600 XT is 460 bucks, so about 90 bucks, 80 to 90 bucks more than a 6600. So no difference in price compared to last week. Now, what we didn't do too much last week was look at the used market. So we were to look at something, say the RTX 2060, which I still think I use the RTX 2060 in my own system for gaming and content creation and streaming. I'm using the NVENC encoder right now as I stream from that RTX 2060. I would consider this a still like usable card. It's only one generation old. If you can't afford how much newer cards are going for, which pretty much is going to be 380 bucks for a RX 6600 starting from that point. If you want something used, we're going to look here and we can find 2060s going for as low as 340 bucks with free shipping. At this point though, I would rather get the 6600 though. What helps is if you don't mind going even 2 generations back, going to like something like a GTX 1070. Kevin Ngo said, oh, which by the way, Kevin, I'm gonna make you a moderator. First of all, thanks for being in stream and helping out and contributing, but thanks for also, you know, supporting the channel in other ways like membership. But I'm gonna make you a moderator. So as I said last week, it doesn't come when you ask for it, but I do feel like you deserve to be one of the moderators in the chat for how often you are in the stream. So everyone, if you could congrats Kevin Ngo on becoming a stream moderator, which does help me out because as you notice in the last few streams, chat goes way faster than I can moderate or even like keep track of. So it definitely helps to build up a moderation team. So congrats. I wish I had like a celebration gift or something to play. So but yeah, but so Micro Centers are carrying some of these older cards in stock. Let me see if we can find it in stock. If that's the case, I think they have better priced newer cards. I can't find it here. If you look at 99, yeah, so right here, if you look at Micro Center's website, let me see the lowest price one. We do have ones for $390 brand new. It's the Asus dual overclocked one. So these are going for $390, but I think if you look up the 6600s, these are going for less than that at Micro Center. Lowest price. So definitely take a look around. Prices are fluctuating left to right. Here's a 6600 Eagle, which I'm going to actually be building with this coming up soon. This one's going for $370, so similar price to Newegg. It's available current gen. So it's kind of weird, like with the older hardware, especially stuff that's kind of phased out, that might not necessarily be produced anymore. Though they recently re-released the 2060 though, right? So that's a weird situation you have going there. But just in general, pricing on older stuff isn't always reflective of what they're worth. It's just what happens when things are phased out and they're not as actively searched. Like this happens on Amazon all the time. If you look for like, let's say a Haswell i7 4790K or 4770K, it's gonna have stupid prices with it because there's not like a new market for it anymore. So the RTX 2060 is kind of in between those two. Prices for it from other websites, it's an older card, so, and it's not like they're gonna sell it for a super huge discount either, just because then it'll sell out instantly. So yeah, just be wary of that. But I would rather go for this 6600 over that 2060 if you're looking specifically at Micro Center. Okay, I have like a million tabs open right now. So let me go back and find that tab that I was just searching for. Okay, so we're looking, so GTX 1070s, I will still recommend this card to this day if we can find it for cheap enough. And it looks like we can find one for $230, which is not bad considering this thing outperforms the 6500 XT, and you're not going to find a 3060 or a 3050 or a 6600 that comes this low in price. Why is this blinding me every time? Stop it. Okay. So this right here, if I needed a graphics card right now and I had no more than $250, this is used. Oh, this product has issues though. You're killing me here. I almost thought I found a good deal on this card. Plays games. It passes stress tests. One of or more of the video outputs is not functioning or is missing. Of course, only the DVI port is working. Did we see this last week? We might have. The 6600 XT MSRP, I believe it was 370, but we can. It was either 370. It's no one. Let's see. Okay, it was 380. It was 379. So it was 380. Yeah. This ad sounds familiar. So eBay's all kind of messed up right now with my dark mode, so I apologize when we go to different pages are having different dark mode outputs. So sorry for that. But yeah, I think we saw these. No, that's a 1050 Ti. So 1070 going for 240. I think this one probably doesn't have issues. I still think this one has bad fans. You're killing me here. This card has bad fans. Why? We have a Asus single fan tent. I'm trying to find like a solution under 250 bucks here, which is pretty difficult. I guess what would you all say a $250 or less graphics card that you can pick up right now anywhere in the US, not your local deal behind a back alley on Craigslist or like OfferUp in your town only. I'm talking about anyone in the US can pick this and have them shipped to their door for less than 250 bucks. What is the GPU you're thinking of in your mind? For me, it's the 1070 if we can find good working versions that don't have busted fans or busted outputs. This card is used in good working order. Okay, so we have one for after shipping is $255, but it's a 1070 at heart. It doesn't have the best cooler on it. It's got a single fan reference, not a reference, but it's a blower style cooler. So it'll run warm or run loud. That's being sold here. Here's a better one. This one's a little bit more expensive, $20 on shipping. $240 is the EVGA version. This one might be the ones that you had to apply the fix to because they had overheating issues on the onboard components. But then EVGA sent out kits where you can put the thermal pads on yourself. But I don't remember which exact model it was, but it was an EVGA card. This one, you could bid for it if you don't mind waiting up to 6 days to see if you win the bid. But for $240, I bought these cards multiple times for $200. So I understand this is a little bit high of an asking price, but that's the market we're working in with right now. $240, I would say it's not horrible. So Christopher Coonan says 1050 Ti and 1063 gigabytes. Those are both going for around 200 though, aren't they, Chris? 1650. All right, let's take a look how much those are going for. GTX 1060. So if we look at the lowest price GTX 1050, I'm guessing these are probably gonna be like 200 bucks. So we have broken ones. Yeah, we have as parts only, pre-owned. We have a 3 gigabyte 1060 for 150. This is actually pretty good, which is crazy to think about considering they were only a few months ago going for 200 bucks. And then before that, they were going for like $100. So we're still on the downtrend for these, but 1060s. Okay, so this is 150 bucks though. If you wanted to use your full budget, what other cards do you have? I would say for $150-ish plus 15 shipping, the 1060 is not a bad option. Let's look at the 1050 Ti's because those ones did hold value for a long time, but now we're starting to see 120 bucks. This is half of if you had a budget of 250. So you're starting to have to basically, you're saving a lot of money, but you're not fully utilizing the budget, which isn't bad. But oh my gosh, dark mode, you're killing me. This one is 120 bucks. With free local pickup, I guess you have to calculate the shipping, which will probably be around 15 bucks. This is all ports. I only do pickups. Message of interested. Interesting. To be listed on eBay for only pickups. But for so 1050 Ti's, it looks like they're going for. This one's going for 135. This one is items been tested, fully functional, good condition, pulled from a working computer. Okay, all stuff we love to see. Actual item in picture. Has some scratches, whatever, that doesn't matter. So yeah, so this one is gonna work out to under 150 after shipping. So, oh, Shane Eslick here, my nephew's here. Shane, I'm sorry if I did miss you when you said hi on the stream, but have a good time with your nephew. Thanks for stopping by. The RX 5500 is, let me see. So if we look at RX 5500, and I am using eBay just because we all know how annoying it is to look on OfferUp. There's way more scams going on there. But I'm on Texas. I've been having problems trying to sell my 1050 Ti locally for 140s Canadian. I always got to do the conversion because, so that's about 110 USD. Yeah, so that's a good sign for the GPU market, because if you can't sell it for around 110 USD, it means that people aren't willing to pay the high prices. So it's kind of bad for you, I'm on Tech, because you're not going to get as much money, but it's good that people are kind of holding the line and not paying a ridiculous amount, which I think your 140 Canadian for a 1050 Ti is very fair. If you were in the US and local to me, I would definitely buy that 1050 Ti from you. But I think if I did try to buy it from you because of Canada, getting it shipped over country lines, that, like, if there's any duties or anything like that and shipping costs, I don't think it'd be worth it. But I would imagine that should have moved a lot quicker. So lowest price plus shipping. Let's see. So 5500 XTs are going for, yeah, around 240, 230, like you were saying. And then with around 15 bucks shipping. So, but Chris, you would go with a 5500 XT over a 1070? Love, let's see, love watching the show, so relaxing, knowledgeable, thanks. Thank you for the kind words. No, you would not, oh, you're throwing out cards, okay, gotcha. Yeah, so, I agree with you, there are more options. Personally, for me, the top pick for 250 or less, I would go for a GTX 1070. But if you can't find one, we do have other alternate options, like he was saying, 1050 Ti, 1060, 5500. It's gonna range anywhere from 150 to 250. And those would be my go-to cards, given that budget, you know, working with that. Yeah, 5500 XT, I would go 5500 XT for sure over a 6500 XT, just for the PCIe Gen 3 versus 4 thing alone. Okay, LS1 says, I'm so annoyed, bought my 3060 for 1400 AUD and now they're 650 AUD? What is that conversion? You bought it for 1,000? What? 3060s were going for that much in Australia? In the US, they never capped out at more than like 650 USD. When you, yeah, getting into $700 territory, that was at least the 3060 Ti's. Like, even at the peak of the pandemic, when people were reselling cards, I swear there were always listings for like 600, maybe 650 that you could find for brand new in box from resellers for the 3060. So dang, that sucks that you did pay that much for it, but you got the computer earlier, I guess. So that's a consolation prize than having to wait until now. You've been telling everyone to hold on for Ethereum to go to proof of stake, right? That's what it stands for. I don't keep up with crypto at all. Has that already happened? Is Ethereum proof of stake now, or is that still like something to happen? Frigo's Clip says, I want to sell my 3070 and buy a 3060 Ti. Why is that? I guess, are you trying to like pocket back some of your money? Like maybe make $100 back or because what are 3070s going for right now? So if we look at the cheapest 3070, oops. The lowest 3070 on Newegg right now is $730. And if we look at used ones or open box or I guess resellers on eBay, we have, I clearly typed in 3070s. I wish eBay was a little bit better about not showing me 3060s for the however many listings. Like, come on. I don't want to filter it out too much because if people miscategorize stuff, I might miss it. But you can get this for $700. It's a different version of the card, but this looks like a legit seller. Hundreds of sales, 100% positive feedback. You get free shipping. So between these two, it's a $30 difference, though this one's a 3-fan gigabyte card. This one's the Ventus from MSI. Here in South Africa, the price difference is huge. Okay, because I was gonna say 3060 Ti's, the price difference is not as much. Last we checked, yeah, 3060 Ti's, I think we're going around 600 when we checked last week. So there might be some for cheaper now. Let's see. 3060, 3060, 3060. Come on. We're not going to see a 3060 Ti for a while. I could sort it on the left. Okay, desktop graphics cards. 30 series. Here we go. 3060 Ti. So if we're looking at comparison to like $700-ish, we have an open box one for $540. So we're looking at about $180 price difference. So these are coming down in price, which is a little nice to see. Still around 150 or so over MSRP. Let's see. Chris says. Okay, let me get caught up on chat actually for a bit because I missed quite a bit of chat. So it looks like Ethereum has not gone proof of stake yet. Has not happened. Okay. Can I, Driver Gaming says, can I please drive to Valve HQ and pick up a Steam Deck? I mean, I don't think they will have any available there. Aren't those still on back order? But, Hybrid 1880 says, sold 3 Founders Editions on eBay for the going rates. Thank you for being a, good person and not selling it for an over the top amount. Ethereum is going point of stake, which means, or proof of stake, which means these GPUs are no longer useful. Yes, there are other coins, but they cannot make the price back quickly enough to make them worth it. Ethereum going proof of stake June to July. The prices are going to crash hard this summer, which we've seen it in the past before. When crypto crashed for whatever reasons, regulations, or the hype dying down, we saw the GPU market have like an exodus of used graphics cards into the market. So yeah, I definitely don't doubt prices are gonna go down. It's a matter of fact of the summer is still, June and July, we're still 2 to 3 months away from that. To save, we don't know how far they're gonna crash to. They're gonna come down, but like, how far lower than MSRP do you think they'll really go? People will be offloading it, like miners will be offloading the cards, all that good stuff, but they'll probably try to hold the line and make as much as they can for a while. So if you can wait, we always get back to this point, and I'm going to get to the membership and donation stuff in a second, but we always get back to the point is how much is time worth to you? Yeah, if you have a good working system like I do now and like a lot of people in the chat, definitely hold out on your graphics card upgrade if you can. If you're already capable of gaming now, doing whatever content creation you need to do, streaming, etc. with your working PC now, don't pay the marked up prices. But if you're looking to build a computer because you don't have one and you've been dying to get on one, I mean, I can't recommend for those people to keep waiting because that's still months away and that time is valuable. So That's just my opinion on it. But in the meantime, we also got 2 membership joins. We got Donovan Holder, who is now part of the Nerd on a Big Budget fam. So thank you for joining membership there. As well as David Ward, who's a Nerd on a Tight Budget fam. Thank you for the membership joins there. I appreciate that a lot. But getting back to chat, Christopher Cooney says, I agree, Danny. Yeah. So I think we have been having a lot of good discussions during the streams regarding like the prices, over MSRP, under MSRP, things crashing. But you can't apply at all those situations to every single individual the same. Different people have different needs. They have different timelines that they're working to get a PC up and running. So you just definitely got to take all that information and use what applies to you and make the best decision that you can. Me and all the other community members here are just trying to give you as much information to arm you with that. But at the end of the day, it's your credit card. You're pulling the trigger to buy something. It's your money. Just spend it wisely if you can. So, hey, what's up? It's Nate. Welcome to the stream. Let's see. What's up, Madness Rising? I feel like long time no see, but I do see you in the comments, just not in all the streams. So what's up? Okay, 69th like, nice. 69, nice. Or is it this way? But now it looks like I'm throwing gang signs up. I'm not. It's a 6-9, people. What's up, Philip Tran? Welcome to the stream. How you doing, Philip? I feel like I haven't talked to you in a long time. Hope all is going well for you and the wifey down in Texas. Coalition Gaming, is he here? Did Chris pop in and I missed his message? Oh, what's up? Have I seen this? Tech Raider. Okay, so Chris gave me an article. We'll pull that up. Man, we are almost an hour into stream so far. So much to look at. Okay. Ooh, this is an interesting story. Also, so Chris from Coalition Gaming submitted this story. Later on, if you guys have any interesting tech news to submit to the Twitter portion of the stream, I'm down to look at that stuff too. If you have any videos that we could skim through, like either videos from other content creators or videos of products, I'm down to look through that as well. So it doesn't have to just be like tips for, you know, someone's PC build or stream showcase. It could be anything you want me to look at with everyone on stream. But Chris submitted this, and let's just take a look at this, just because this is a very interesting headline. Razer headset saves gamer from a stray bullet. So this is very scary. But let's read the article real quick. Okay, so this was a story on Reddit, which we could go to the original post and story if we want to. Oh man, my shirt is purple now. Now it's black. So this is a Reddit post. If anyone's interested, check that out. Chris just linked it up above. But all right. So they shared several stories of the bullet through the window. There's interesting. That's the bullet itself, the wall. I wonder what actually ended up stopping it. It looks like it might have been deflected off the top of this, bounced off of the wall and landed on my bed, through the window, skimmed the headset. Man, it's hard to tell at what angle it came in on, but this is a pretty cool story. They would have been a dead kid at the age of 18. Holy. So this is really scary. The fact that it happened once, hopefully they don't live in an area where this is like a common occurrence. And if so, hopefully they move their computer or their bedroom, or like move their things away from that side of the wall. Maybe be behind like solid wall for a little bit more protection. But dang. This happened in Torrance, so that's in California, right? Allegedly. Because obviously we gotta take all this with a little bit of a grain of salt, right? Some people post fake stories on Reddit just for clout and karma. But this story, I wouldn't really question this happening in real life. I could totally see this being a real thing. So, let's see. Give me 1 second. Hey, we got Zach's Tech Turf in the house as well. What's up, Zach? Sorry if I missed your chat. We're going through this really interesting story that Chris submitted. Many commenters on Reddit called out the story as a hoax, prompting them to upload more photos. They show a dent in the wall. So yeah, that's the only thing. It's good to be skeptical. It's really hard to prove that this actually happened because obviously you're not going to have live footage recording of it happening, and this could be staged. But either way, I hope this was a true story, and it's pretty cool to see that, you know, this headphone potentially saved their life and deflected the bullet. The window probably did a little bit of the deflecting as well, but yeah. I'm never taking my headset off again. I know, right? I'm not wearing a headset right now. Should I be? Nah, I'm actually very well protected here. If any drive-bys happen outside my house, I'm in the basement, so it's not happening on this floor. Melissa, on the other hand, I don't know about that. Let's see. Frigo's Clip says, you paid $830 USD last week for your 3070 and the 3060 Ti is $680. So that's a $150 difference. That's the difference we saw earlier when we just checked on Newegg. So yeah, I guess if you wanted to trade your 3070 in, you could pocket back some of the money, especially if you don't need the 3070. But you're saying that South Africa prices are pretty bad. So it kind of sucks, but you know, it is what it is in terms of paying the higher prices. Dusty O'Rusty said you paid $720 for their 3070 for the win from EVGA, which yeah, I think that's a good deal with prices right now. Ryan Henderson says they use Apple earbuds, so unless the bullet hit their ear, which I still think it would just go right through it, yeah, they're dead. So Madness Rising dodged a bullet due to dropping a tot, and I'm guessing picking it up. So without seeing a followed police report, we can't entirely be sure the incident occurred, but the pictures make a compelling case. So yeah, very interesting story. Like if I were to tell you a story like this, I wonder if I have enough cred to make it believable. Nothing as crazy as this has ever happened to me though. So if it does, we'll see if people would think that I'm faking it or not. But thanks for that submission, Chris. Alright, so we're about an hour in the stream now, and I think we can get to the point where if people start submitting their different posts for me to look at right now, we can start working on those. Let me log into Twitter though, so we can get that started. Is Twitter down? Come on, let me log in. If I can remember my login. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna go to my notifications, and as these start coming in, all right. So we do have. So we're starting with Ryan with the dog face here. So we're starting with Ryan because some other people submitted a little bit too early, but we're starting to get the submissions in now. So Ryan with his 1 minute ago post. But before we get into that, I'm just gonna hang out with chat for a little bit. Where is it at? Okay, let me get that off the screen. Donovan Holder, are Rosewell PSUs any good? I have the Hercules. So for anyone who is not aware or has never used this resource, if you look up PSU tier list, a lot of search options are gonna come out. A lot of forums hosted this tier list, but I think the most updated one is from the Cultist Network themselves. This is known as the Cultist Network PSU tier list. It does get reposted on like Hard OCP or Hard Forum. Linus has that. I think Tom's Hardware also hosts a version, but if you want the most up-to-date version, which I believe is this 15.0A version, for power supplies, there are only like a handful of people in the world that can adequately test power supplies, because the equipment for it is stupid expensive and you have to have extensive knowledge for all this stuff. So they have this tier list that breaks it down to all the different tiers. So if you're asking about the Rosewell Hercules, so we look up Rosewell, you can go down and search for the power supply that you actually have. So here's Rosewell. This they break it down into the different tiers. So rules will keep going down till we see. I could search for Hercules, but I just want to see what they might not even have it on here. They do not have the Hercules on here. So if you can't find something on the tier list, the next option would be if it's an older power supply. Let's see. There might Johnny Guru's gone, so there's not that many. There might be like a Tom's review of it, which the person who reviews for Tom's also reviews for other people too. The power supply review. But you definitely want to take a look at... Yeah, so I guess this is the power supply in question. Rosewell Hercules. Tech Power Up. They actually have a review, and you gotta look at... So if you look at the name of the person who does the review... Let's see, Legit Reviews also has one up. If these will load. So this is by... Okay, so Nathan Kirsch, he owns Legit Reviews. Where's this other one, though? I want this Tech Power Up one. Because Tech Power Up... Okay, so this is by... This is not by Aries or whatever that... the very well-known power supply tester is. But do they do all the full... Okay, voltage regulation. So they do... Oh, that didn't pop up for whatever reason. So, extensive reviews here. This is going to take longer than we have time to actually go through and read this. But you definitely, when you're... And there's different wattage models available too, and they're not all the same. So I don't know whoever asked the question, whichever model that you have, try to find the written review of that, because the power supply is like the one thing that most tech reviewers on YouTube are not able to do on their own. But let's see. Shouldn't be too bad. None of them are too bad anymore. So yeah, power supplies, I think in general, the bar has gone up a little bit in terms of like even the low tier power supplies. I personally think that PSU Cultists, they call some like passable power supplies like D to E tier, or even like C tier when it says low end. But like we said before, what's their definition of low end? Like a 600 watt UGA bronze unit, I think falls under C tier. But you could use that in a system comfortably up to like a 3060, 3070 with no issues at all. And you're not going to have any issues. It's not going to burn your house down. So, like with all things, take this with a grain of salt. But this does have a lot of useful information, which I think a lot of people don't even know about. They have a whole spreadsheet with the data in this, which if you wanted to, you could take a look in. Like, they have way more information if you want to per power supply sorted out here in this spreadsheet. So definitely take a look at this. Tier list is like a very overarching quick look. Is this power supply decent or not? If you want to go more into the details, you could go to their spreadsheet, which they have readily available for people to look through. Okay, so what else? Just submitted your messy setup. All right, gotcha. Low tier has crap caps and poor ripple suppression. Okay, but in terms of translating to, let's say, long-term performance, do you really think it's gonna damage your PC, damage your parts, or is it just gonna die out sooner? Most of those power supplies have a warranty of like 3 to 5 years anyways, and you're paying $60 for, not even 60, some of those units are like 40 bucks. So I mean, it comes with the territory for if you're building a budget build, right? I see a lot of people buying Pallet brand GPUs. Is this brand well known? Pallet is not that popular or well known in the US. It is overseas though, so and then somehow, you know, they make their way over to the US and then they get sold in like the secondhand market. Though I wouldn't be surprised if they started selling for like new on Newegg. Like, let's see if we can find a Pallet graphics card here. Yeah, so you can't find Pallet. It definitely... Is this even sold by Newegg? I'm curious. Yeah, no, it's not. It's sold by some other company. Let's see if they have anything sold by Newegg. Manufacturer... Useful links shipped by Newegg. That's not, is that the same thing though? Christopher Coonan says the PSU is one thing to never go cheap on. Agreed there. But let's say you have a budget of like $600-700. You're not putting $150 or $100 PSU in there. You're probably putting like a $70 to $80 B tier power supply if you have a budget that low. But Taka PP says, whose PC is getting upgraded next? That's a secret, so I'm not gonna say that on stream, but thanks for the donation. Okay, so let's get on to the different Twitter submissions. Let me close all these other tabs out because I have like 20 tabs on this window open right now. And I'm gonna confuse myself if I don't. So, oh my goodness. Okay, so we have please tell me this is listed in order. I believe they are. Wait, where's the other post? Did they delete it? The person with the dog face. Huh, looks like they deleted it. Let me go to my mentions. Nope, not in the mentions. Okay, so we're gonna, okay. We're gonna look at, this is Ho-Ho. Hey, NOAB Budget, check this out. PC part picker might get a 3060 Ti for cheaper. By the way, they are an RGB, I clicked on the wrong one. RGB hater. We got an RGB hater in the house, which is fine. If you don't like RGB, no worries. Oh, we gotta play the captcha game, or I keep on calling this a captcha game, but it's not really a captcha because it's not like the word, the letters and stuff. Hello, are you gonna pop up? Oh, it is, technically it is a capture game, H-Captcha. But it's not the one where you have to distinguish the letters. We're clicking on boats again, right? It's been boats like every week. Do they only care about me identifying boats for the AI algorithm or something? Okay, so this is the build they want to look at. We've got an RGB hater in the house, and they're looking at a $1,200 build. Okay, so that's a decent amount to work with. Ban. Hey, we got It's Nate on his other account, 1080p. What's up? So we have a 12400F. Okay, we like to see that. B660M MSI Pro motherboard. Okay, that's fine. Nothing wrong here yet. $70 for Corsair Vengeance. That's fine as well. 512 gigabyte SSD. So I mentioned this in previous streams. It looks a little weird, but if you already have drives on hand, either spinning or other SSDs of other capacities, and you're gonna throw it in your system, that's fine. But I think 512 is gonna be like, so this is $50, right? I would pay like the $90 to double the capacity, because you're getting it for a slightly better gigabyte per dollar ratio. But we got a $570 so it's gonna be like an all blacked out build. LHR 3060 Ti from MSI. We got the 4000D solid case, and we got the CXM 650 watt for $60, which, I mean, this is fine. I believe the modular CXM, they list it as the C tier, but honestly, I think it's like upper C, lower B tier. So this is fine. This will be plenty for the system. So the price on this looks good. What did their post originally say? Might get yeah, so if you can find a 3060 Ti for cheaper, then by all means. Nothing really wrong with this list looking at it. Let me look at this motherboard, I guess. One of the weird things is, and you might have done this for the price, is the motherboard is a micro ATX and you're gonna be putting it into ATX tower. I've done this in the past because micro ATX boards are a little bit cheaper. But if you care about aesthetics at all, you might not, because you don't care about RGB. Keep in mind that a micro ATX board takes out about like this much space in the case. So you do have some blank space in the bottom. If you don't really care about that, then that's fine. But some people think it looks weird to put micro ATX in a full tower. It's really up to you though. But in terms of the board itself, yeah, nothing too alarming here. I think you're pretty much good to go. You could make a few modifications, but for the most part, the core specs, which is what most people care about, you know, the processor, the graphics card, all seem to fall in line in terms of price. Sebastian Martinez says, I legit don't know what I'm doing with my PC, so I'm legit scared of even touching the PC. As long as it's powered off, and as long as you don't have, like, you know, don't have any water near it, and you aren't like rubbing your feet with socks on carpet and touching all the components purposefully, you should be fine. You can touch parts of your PC and remove parts if you want, just to practice. Try to remove the RAM graphics card. I'm assuming you already have a PC, but yeah, don't worry about getting into hands-on with your PC. That a lot of people are worried about that because they have this notion that PC parts are super delicate, but honestly, they're not. Linus drops PC parts all the time, and it's fine. So, and I've accidentally dinged up PC parts and dropped them too. They're not as fragile as you think you are, as long as you're trying to be careful with it. Also, don't just go licking like contacts and things like that, and you'll be fine. Careful, you trigger Zach with a micro ATX board and ATX case. Yeah, it's a weird look, but hey, if you're saving costs and you are... Here's the thing. The most important part of a PC is that it is your PC and that it performs to what you need it for and that you like the look of it. If you are okay with a micro ATX board and a full tower case, and you can save money because micro ATX boards are a little cheaper and you don't need a full ATX board, by all means, go and do it. Don't try to satisfy me or any other tech YouTuber and try to get our approval. We all have our own preferences. I'm not about making people feel bad for if they make some choice, whether it be by mistake or if they do it intentionally. So yeah, up to you if you want to do the micro ATX in the full ATX. 1080p says triggering Zach is not hard to do at all. Yeah, Zach is all about the build aesthetics. So he definitely, like, when it comes to critiquing build aesthetics, I believe among all the tech fam and like people that I you know personally know and have met through the YouTube community, I think Zach definitely it goes the hardest in terms of critiquing aesthetics, and that's just his thing. Like, there's nothing against that. I think some of the other like let's say Toasty Bros or like Mark from Scattervolt or Ozzy or something, they're more laxed, and I'm also more laxed when it comes to aesthetics. It doesn't have to be perfect, but yeah, Zach definitely, yeah, his builds, they look sharp. Like if you go and look on his Instagram, his builds, he puts in the extra effort to make it looking extra nice, and a little bit more money too, like getting cable extensions, what's it called, vinyl wraps and stuff. So some people don't think it's worth paying the extra 20 bucks for all those extra stuff, and that's totally fine. Frigo's Clip says, don't I have to cook rice? No, I already cooked rice before stream, so we are good to go. Okay, so here we got our next one. Thanks for the submission, by the way. Hopefully that helped. So we have the dream PC of Everardo Contreras. Wow, I just butchered that up. But this is their dream PC. What do we got here? 5950X, which is going for almost 600 bucks. We got a beefy CPU so far. Let's just skip down and see what this graphics card they're pairing with it. With the 3070 Ti. So this is their dream PC, they say. Okay, we've got the Asus TUF X570. With the motherboard stuff, as long as it looks alright, I'm fine with just skimming past it, because we don't have time to go into every single motherboard, looking at the different VRMs, the different performance, the different price points, especially for like a high-end build like this, and an X570 board. 260 doesn't sound out of the ordinary. We have 32 gigabytes of RAM, which is, what's the build total? Oh my goodness. Okay, this is a huge build list. If you look at how far this takes to scroll down, you get a $5 promo discount, but this is a $3,000 build. But they have everything else in here because of that. They have the mouse, the headphone. So let me take a look at what all this costs so I can subtract it. 260, okay, 200. So what do we have here? Like around $600 worth of extra stuff. So this is really like a $2,400 build. And they have Windows included in here. I don't know if they want me to look at the price or just the build itself, but we do have, this is really like a $2,300 build, which you have to take into account because we are working with like a 3070 Ti. Yeah, so what is the question for this, by the way? I'm leaning on the 3070 Ti more than the 3060 Ti, but you haven't decided yet. So in terms of this build list, you're using all brand new parts for the most current gen. A lot of like kind of higher end parts too, like 32 gigs of RAM. That's not super high end, but that's definitely more than the norm that we're seeing. A lot of people are still on 16 gigs. You have an X570 board, which is the higher end chipset. You have a 15950X, it's a Ryzen 9. You got the master cooler with it. That's fine. 1 terabyte Samsung Pro drive. Man, this is an expensive drive. Honestly, even me as a content creator, like working with video footage and transferring stuff like that, paying this much more for a drive when we know there's 1 terabyte drives that perform pretty close to this for like 110, 120 Gen 4 NVMe drives. This is a hard thing for me to swallow. But so that's one thing I'll point out, though. I'm not gonna fault Samsung users for spending more on the premium brand though. Like Samsung has like a really long history. I mean, they use high quality components, etc. They just carry a premium that I feel like most people will not realize the gains from it. Like if you were a rich streamer and money was no issue or something, sure. But if money is actually a factor for you, then I find it hard to recommend Samsung products personally. But I guess not a huge deal here though. 3070 Ti we have. Yeah, so didn't we see some 3070 Ti's were under $800 at some point? I think they go in and out of sale. So you could probably get this a little cheaper. We got a Corsair A-tier RM power supply here. So that's fine, 850 watt. So okay, about this build. This is your dream PC. So I'm guessing you have to build one day. You don't even have the money for it right now. So there's not much to critique here. I have to go like grasping for straws to find stuff to critique, honestly. And yeah, you have a 4 terabyte drive here, which I didn't mention earlier. The 5400 RPM, if you can get 7200, I would try to. 5400 is very slow. But other than that, there's not much wrong with the PC build. Like 240 millimeter cooler on that. Would this case fit a 360? What's the case where from parametric below? There's okay, first of all, this build is, I just realized there's like no case here. Show. Oh, they're doing a TD500. I think that should, this is a pretty big case. So this one, let's look at the radiator support. If you're able to fit in a 360 at the top. So this, okay, this supports 360, but you're going to be going from the front. So if you do get a better cooler for this, the 5950X, I can't recall off the top of my head what 240 millimeter coolers look like on top of that. But Christopher Coonan brings up a good point. It would probably run pretty toasty. If you want to upgrade the cooler to like a 360, it's not going to work with this case unless you put it near the front. And then you go into the discussion of tubes up versus tubes down, right? If you put tubes down, will that even clear this PSU shroud? But that's another topic. I'm personally fine with tubes up if you go keep this case and put a 360 in the front. But other people have differing opinions. It's Nate says that some will still do. Yeah, I don't know if I would push it though. Looking at the pictures, it looks like there's only spots for 2 fans up top. And trying to like force a 360 in there, you might not get adequate coverage, especially since the top portion of it. Let me look at the gallery real quick. Yeah, so the top portion of it is gonna have this, like this unmeshed portion, right? I don't see a 360 fitting up here where the fan's not gonna be obstructed a little bit by this. So I think the Corsair 4000D might fit. If not, the 5000D would fit the 360mm radiator. So there's that, and then choice of hard drive was a little bit odd. I would go for a faster RPM one, but you're not even gonna build this anytime soon, so you have time to figure out to work on this list, and prices are gonna change too. So we'll go on to the next one. We have Sut Mig submitting his PC setup, which he is not using a front cover. It is interesting to see. Let's see. Windows 10? Wait, what do you mean by Windows 10? There's nothing wrong with Windows 10. I'm still using Windows 10. I'm not going to Windows 11 until I need to. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'll probably go to Windows 11 on other non-main PCs that I use, but I don't feel the need to hop onto Windows 11 right now. Jonathan R says, do I still use the Keychron? Yeah, wow, the keyboard also is gonna be green screen. But yeah, I am still using the Keychron K4. I love this. It's charging right now, because the only issue about this, I gotta charge it because even when I leave it in wireless mode, I keep on forgetting the RGB, like I leave the RGB on and it kills the battery. So it works wireless, but I'm often charging it because I need to figure out the settings to make it auto shut off. Oh yeah, Waldo, I don't think they're gonna pay that much. They just put it on there because of PC Price Picker. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna ask this question in the chat right now. Anytime I see a Windows key in PC Part Picker, I'm assuming people aren't paying for that. They're just putting it into the build. Danny, what's in the bowl? This is the food that, bro, I got like halfway through eating and then the stream started, and I don't want to be rude and just constantly eat throughout stream, so I have to finish that later. But okay, we're getting into the next submission now. Matthew, okay, you're spamming right now, so I'm gonna put you in timeout for a little bit. But if you want something to be looked at on stream, you gotta submit it through Twitter, not in the chat, because otherwise chat's just gonna be filled with a million different requests and questions. But let's take a look at Sutmig, who submitted their first PC setup. Okay, so this is pretty interesting to see. Their first PC setup will eventually upgrade the mobile and CPU, but they got a 2060 for $320, which is the going price right now. They got a good deal, or at least discounted, on this 850 watt EVGA GQ for $45. So they listed out the prices, which is nice to see. They have an ASRock B250. What is the CPU? You listed, oh wait, B250M Pro 4. Okay, yeah, so we have an i7 7700. So this is a little bit older of a, this is why, remember when RAM wasn't always sold at like 3000 or 3200 megahertz? This was back in like Skylake, KB Lake times. RAM kits were more commonly like 2133, 2400, or 2666, which is what Sutmig has. 64 gigabytes of it. So this isn't a huge deal. Yeah, you're gonna upgrade this eventually. You got this combo for $150, which is pretty impressive. Even though this is an older platform, these DDR4 Intel chips and motherboards, they still go for quite a bit. So the RAM in itself is easily worth, like, let me think, probably like $80 or $90 just because it's 64 gigabytes of it. It's not the fastest RAM. but 64 gigs is a lot. So that's worth having. And getting a motherboard and CPU that's still somewhat capable for the other 75 bucks, this is a good combo price that you picked up here. So good job on that. Let's see, you got your AIO is let me look at this picture here. So your AIO is a Rosewell one that you got for 30 bucks. You got it set up in the back. This is, your cable management. Okay, so this is your setup right here. If we're critiquing like your deal hunting skills, I would say you did great. None of these prices were like bad or anything at all. Good job on finding the parts and stuff like that. Now let's get to critiquing like aesthetics. So the case itself, fans came with a cheap used case, $45. So you got the case used. Did it come with like a tempered glass front and you took it off? Or okay, so this was all actually $250. So at $250, I don't know how recent you bought it. That comes more in line as to what I would be expecting. Like, so 32 gigabytes right now, it's like 120 bucks. So 64, this still isn't that bad of a price because that is a lot of RAM, even at those speeds. So this deal at 250 is not as amazing of a deal as I originally thought, but it's priced about in line with what we'd expect. However, this front right here, cover had no airflow. So he removed the cover because it was either a fully, front panel or like glass, fully solid or glass. So, for your first setup, I've definitely seen like this is relatively clean. Aside from the cable management at the bottom, which is easy to fix, though the inside, your build definitely can work on cable management here. Does this case, it looks like this case offers ways to run things in the back. So what you need to do, if you want to make this look cleaner, you take these fans and you rotate them, because it looks like you see these cords coming out of the fans. They need to be such that they're closest to the motherboard tray. So you need to rotate them so that they have instant access to one of the routing holes to the back. So I would do that for all these to get those in the back. I would pull, you see this right here, the power supply connector to the graphics card. I would pull that so it's a little bit tighter, so that it goes straight to there and it doesn't have all this slack in here. And I would probably use this connector right here and then zip tie or glue this one down to here so you don't have this daisy chain pigtail action going on. Okay, so we look at this right here. This is starting to get into questionable territory. Actually no, so the pump is up here. Okay, no, so we're fine. It just looks a little bit odd. Yeah, other than that, I think you can route a lot of your wires behind the case. You could probably also should you rotate this? I wonder if there's a way you could leave your radiator mounted as so, but if you rotate the way that this is mounted, you could undo the coil that's going on here to make it look a little cleaner. Other than that, it's not too bad though. Jason N. Baum says, I feel like you drop temps if you cable manage. So cable managing is not going to drop the temps. I think Linus did a video, or Luke from Linus Tech Tips did a video of this a long time ago, where he actually shoved a ton of things in a case to try to get the temps to go up, and it was kind of negligible. These cables are not going to change temperatures at all. It's just more of an aesthetic thing. Oh, okay, good point. The pump is in the radiator, which might be what this is. So this is a unique situation. We're used to the pump being in the block, but this one's in the rad. So okay, now I can't see from here, but it looks like the pump is at the most bottom point that you can get it. I mean, I guess you can move this radiator down here, but okay. So I think we're good on this here. You could rotate the block, but otherwise it's fine. But yeah, we do want the pump to not be starved of water or liquid, basically. So this does look like it is like at the lowest point by barely. Why is the CPU power ran from the bottom to the top? What do you mean? Oh, you mean like this right here? Yeah, so that's part of cable management. What he can do here is take this, just route it around the back. I don't know if this case, maybe this case doesn't have any room on the back side. Hopefully it does. It's hard to tell here. Let me see if the other picture. Yeah, it's hard to tell, but there should be a cutout. There's like rarely any cases that don't have a cutout here where you could plug in the 4 to 8 pin power to this corner. So yeah, you could definitely get rid of this long one. But I mean, that aside, those are some easy fixes. You can get this cleaned up real nice. So yeah. Oh yeah, and then you're confirming it is at the lowest point. So yeah, for the AIO, we don't want to basically the pump to run dry. So you're good there. Probably have no room up top. Yeah, it's hard to see, but thanks for your submission. I like the green, by the way. Yeah, honestly, cable management would be the only input that I have there, which it just takes a little bit of time to go and do that. But you can get that cleaned up and looking real nice. And then if you do, be sure to submit next week so we can see the improvements. All right, so next up we have Matthew Boss asking, hey, I'm buying a Dell Inspiron 15 with a Ryzen 5825U. It's for work and school, not gaming. Can you please check out the specs? So we're starting to get into like integrated graphics. Is it this build? March 27th? It looks like there's a Slick Deals post on this. So a $600-ish laptop. I don't know what you're seeing it for right now, but let's take a look here. Hello? Okay, here we go. So you're looking at a Dell Inspiron with the 5825U for work and school. It's hard. What are the price? So we look at the specs. It's gonna be, let's see, integrated Radeon graphics. Okay, it's an 8-core 16-thread Ryzen 7 processor, which was gonna do anything you need for school just fine. Are you really not gonna game at all? 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs, and then this actually has a 120 hertz display, which isn't that bad. In terms of laptops, you're not going to get really much cheaper than this unless you start skipping out and going for Ryzen 5, Ryzen 3, Core i5, Core i3s. So this one actually has a pretty powerful processor in it. You do have very limited gaming capabilities on the integrated graphics with it. But if you don't care about that, off the top, this doesn't look like a horrible deal, but have you compared it? My question is, have you compared it to laptops with graphics cards? Because at $700 to $800, you start approaching dedicated graphics laptops. And do you need as powerful of a CPU as the Ryzen 7? Or are you willing to trade it off with a Ryzen 5 to get a dedicated graphics card? Honestly, it depends on the user. If you truly don't care, then yeah, you're fine to go with this. Specs wise, everything else looks fine. The SSD looks a little small, but you can upgrade that yourself. This may have two slots on the motherboard. It's Nate says he should be out. What? Well, oh, yeah, he should be. Matt should be out of timeout. I think he was the one who posted about this like a billion times. But see, this is, I don't even know if he's in chat anymore. So if he's not in chat, we're gonna move on. But this is one of the reasons why I want to set a time when people can start submitting so that they're still here. Drebler Gaming says, if he lives near a Micro Center, I got a $700 3060 MSI laptop this week, which is a killer deal. Yeah, if you have a Micro Center, they got some pretty cool dedicated graphics gaming laptops for pretty cheap. All right, he's gone. we're moving on. We are moving on. So I guess I could check ahead of time. Is Danny Carbs 93 in the chat? It doesn't matter because we're at this one. We don't really need input from. It's more of just looking. My first build after you looked at the parts list and gave advice. So this is someone who was in stream last week, built based off of what we said on stream. So let's see. 40 Gord says, thoughts on the Radeon RX 6500 XT? I think I've said it multiple times if anyone wants to chime in on that. But quick summary, my thoughts are, don't buy a 6500 XT, get the next better card. If you can't, because you don't have enough money, buy a used GTX 1070. That's my thoughts. All right. Oh, after we looked at the... Okay, so... Oh, this is... They submitted a build last week, right? See, this is how bad my memory is. But we could go and take a look. We can look at their Twitter page. Look at last week. How come I can't see the post from last week though? Or I can't see that. I guess you didn't post it on Twitter last week and we just looked at the parts list. But alright, this is a pretty clean build. Cable management wise. Oh my goodness, I'm misclicking left and right here. Sorry for being such a noob live on stream. Okay, this is a pretty clean looking build. I mean, I don't know what the parts last week were. So we do have an AMD not Founders Edition, but an AMD... What was the names of these again? Their equivalent of Founders Edition. Graphics card in here. I don't know what the CPU is underneath this. But, he must have deleted. Yeah, I think he would have deleted, because I would have remembered it otherwise. This is a pretty clean looking build, though. Too bad we don't know what the specs are. Yeah, reference cards. There we go. Yeah, I guess reference cards is a safer name for them. Danny says he deleted the tweets to surprise my friends. They want this before. Okay, got it. Yeah, but your build looks clean. I don't know what this cable is running off the top of it, but I have been mistaken. I have been known to mistaken reflections for actual cables, but your cable management looks on point. You have the rad up top, which is good. You are... What is your power supply? You are daisy chaining it. I'm curious if this is the Corsair one. Here's the coupon for the Micro Center deal. They got the coupon for this. We can take a look at this because it's gonna help users out. But yeah, very clean build. I have links if you want to see. I think it's gonna take too much time to try to go through the links. But in terms of showcasing your build, very nice. This is your first build. So I think you did a great job. Thanks for submitting, and I'm glad the stream was able to help you, finish off a build and get what I would, a current graphics card as well as what I would think to be a current CPU. Like you have a modern build here. You didn't have to skimp and go for used or past gen parts. Okay, my mobile setup. Thanks for making my ferry rides entertaining. Love the content. So they're sitting in their car. Is this a tablet or is this like a Tesla? I can't tell. Or is this like another electric vehicle? But thanks for submitting that, Justin Silor. Let's go to the next one. Mr. Mini Me. This is my rig. You have a 50800X, 3070, 32 gigabytes of Corsair RAM, running at 3600 megahertz. All right. So very clean build. Mr. Mini Me. See, you didn't submit last week, did you? Or did we see a very similar looking build last week? Oh, is that you, Kevin? Or is that... No, that's not Kevin. That's Justice. But you notice that's not a car. It is on a ferry, not a Cara. What? I said in their car on a ferry. Okay. So Let's see. This is my rig. This is their specs. Very clean. They got a little figurine going on in here. Is this the exact same picture? It looks like it is. Double submission of the same picture. But cable management looks very clean. They got a car, and I can't tell what figure that is there. But Kevin, Go, you have a Model 3 yourself. That's why you recognize it. Okay, yeah. I figured it was. I thought it would be a Tesla, but I don't know all the other electric vehicles out there and which ones have touchscreens. So, yeah, this one looks very clean. I like this. It's going with the blue and white theme. This looks so familiar though. Am I having like deja vu here? Like this is the Matrix? Was this not submitted last week? I could have sworn I saw this, but it must have been a very similar looking build. Yeah, so in terms of specs, it looks solid. You know, you got a higher end Ryzen processor, 3070. Those pair well together. 32 gigs of RAM, which is like what we like to see when you get into the higher end builds and not skimping out going with 16 gigs. And then in terms of aesthetics though, everything looks very on point. I would just say that this could be pulled a little bit tighter. But this is very minor. Like all you have to do is go in, adjust them a little bit and pull it so that you get nice straight runs and curves coming off of these. But you already have the sleeve cables and the cable combs on there, so that already does a ton. I think it's a little bit harder to get this to look straight because it looks like you're coming from the side motherboard, like the hole here with the grommets. Sometimes I wonder how it would look coming through this bottom hole, just coming straight up. Either way, very minor, very clean build though. Thanks for submitting, Mini-Me. Or Mini-Meme rather. Thoughts on this gaming and streaming build? You already have the power supply, M.2 SSD, and 16 gigs of RAM. You pay at 1440Hz 1080p. This parts list is private. I can't look at this. Raise. So, unfortunately, I can't look at this. Nerd on a Budget says, I'm so sorry. I pirate Windows 10 and Windows 7. Honestly, when it comes to Windows 7 and Windows 10 or Windows 11 and people pirating, I feel like that's not the biggest crime that could be committed. I'm not endorsing it by any means, and I don't pirate my own Windows. Like I have legit Windows, like actually from the Microsoft Store, but I didn't pay $100 for it. It's good to know people on the inside that can get you discounts. But pirating Windows, there are much more serious crimes to have been committed, is all I'm gonna say. Let me end the chat, the poll that we had. So I asked a poll earlier. Now we're gonna ask another question because we can keep this anonymous because your name is not tied to your vote. We asked earlier, have you ever paid $90+ for a Windows key, which is basically MSRP, retail price, whatever you want to call it. That's a lot of money. Only 11%, almost around 10% of people said that they have out of all the votes. So here's my next question, and please vote honestly because your vote is not tracked. The FBI is not watching you. If they are, they probably already know you're on a pirated Windows. Do you pirate Windows or have you ever? Here is the question. Let's see how many pirates there are, or past pirates, or future pirates there are in the chat. This is going to be a fun poll. Christopher Coonan says, I bought Windows 95 for $100, Windows 98 I got free, and Windows XP I paid for. That was it. How did you get... was there a step up from XP to 7? I forget if there was, because from 7 to 10, if you had that covered, then Microsoft gave it to you, etc. But, Raze, you sent the link. Okay, we'll go back to Raze. I'll check the replies on this one. PC part picker list made public. So we'll take a look at this next. But regarding the question, do you pirate Windows or have you ever? We're looking about 40-ish, 60 split. It's paying $3 for Windows pirating. I would say no. But there's kind of a gray area though, right? So we're talking about gray market keys. That key was obtained somehow. So the definition of pirating for me would be like using some kind of bypassing software to trick Microsoft into thinking you have a activated version of Windows. There's different ways of pirating it and like activating it illegally. But when you buy a key, even though it might have been obtained, even stolen, how do you think they could sell keys for $3? You're inputting a legit key into Microsoft's like servers, and they're authenticating it and saying it's a legit version. So that is the only reason why I would not say buying a gray market key is pirating officially, but it is not the same as buying a retail key. Use your discretion when voting, though. Like, if you think buying a $3 key is pirating, which is pretty close to it, then vote no. Or then vote yes. I mean, Dilly Tran says those keys are legit businesses, bulk IT deals. Okay, so do you have any sources of that? And I don't mean to call you out, Dilly Tran. Yeah, KMS Pico boys says, hey, it's Joel. Yeah. Okay. Kimnith, thanks for the membership join. Welcome to the Nerd on a Big Budget. Okay. Microsoft servers check your PC's key every time you boot up your PC, so they must not really care that much. Yeah, so that's another... I've already talked about this in previous, like, Windows videos. Microsoft obviously does not care. Otherwise, they would crack down on pirating more. To them, I think you just using Windows, even if it was for free, is worth it because they can harvest the data and stuff that, you know, from being on your PC, for being your operating system. Anytime you send like an error report back, or like you let them monitor what you're doing on your PC, that's all worth something to Microsoft. But either way, when it comes to like the $3 to $10 Microsoft CD keys, I have yet to see any company or website that sells those provide a proof that they obtained it by legitimate means. Just because we've talked about this in previous streams, I think Brian from Tech Yes City, we've talked about this. He had a video where he called Microsoft tech support and asked, hey, I bought these CD keys from a $15 key website. Can you check to see if they're legit? The person checked it off. It was legit. The person, I believe, also had a very heavy Indian accent. So this was like the work that Microsoft outsources to other countries. So I'm not sure how much they care about their job or like protecting Microsoft's integrity of their keys or anything in the first place. But there's something sketchy about CD keys that are obtained for way too cheap. We can talk about this for hours on end, but I don't want to say too much more about that. Yeah, so that's my take on cheap Microsoft keys, which I have no problems with. I bought them before, and I've recommended them to people before. You just gotta be honest with yourself when you're using them, right? You can't say it's as legit as a Microsoft OEM key or like a, you know, a retail key. Brandon Mitchell says, I've used 8 of them and they all work perfectly. Yeah, I've used them in the past for builds of like friends and family. I've recommended them. Never heard of any issues of these $10 CD key, Microsoft OS keys going like bad or like updates stop being supported, things like that. But that's another topic. We're talking about legitimacy here. How are those keys obtained? They buy them from countries where they are cheaper in bulk and sell them on eBay for cheap. Okay, so I think, yeah, I know. Danny, I tried to use RGB swap this week, got some error, and the owner of the company emailed me asking if I needed help or wanted some hardware section for my stuff. Nice. Which we did do an RGB swap, or I did an RGB swap ad placement recently. I'm all for supporting marketplaces that are trying to help PC like buyers and sellers move their product around and take less fees. Jawa is another one. I'm going to be working with Jawa soon. So, yeah. These marketplaces coming up is a good thing for everybody. Trust me. But, back to what Chris was saying, and this is, I'm going to have to go back to the user submissions in a second, but yeah, so that's one of the ways I've heard these CD keys being bought. But they buy them from countries where obviously you can't sell a $90 Microsoft key in like a third world country or like a non-first world country, right? And sorry if I'm not being PC by saying the word third world country, but in those countries you have to offer it for less. So the buyers can buy it from there and then mark it back up selling in the US market. That's one of the means of getting it. But I know some of these websites that resell keys, some of the keys are obtained from stolen credit card numbers or stolen like hacked accounts and things like that. And they buy the keys because it's not their own money and they resell them because they're essentially getting it for free because they hacked someone's account or stuff like that. And then they're reselling it for 10 to 15 bucks because it, again, doesn't cost them any money. So there's definitely a lot of avenues to how these prices come down to that much. There's no way to verify though, right? That's the only scary or sketchy thing. And if one of the CD key companies wants to approach me and like can trace back where the keys came from, I will be glad to cover it. And you know, take back some of my words. But other than that, we all know how the keys can be that cheap. Okay, so let's see. The closest to legit a $2 key gets. Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, Chris, but if we could trace that, that would be awesome, because other than that, it's just hearsay. If you want a homework assignment, Chris, if you want to look into that and get back to us, that would be awesome. But I've tried. It's just really hard to get like to find information. I think my school gave me a key. Yeah, so that's another way I got a key for free when I was in university. They had a program where all students got like one free Windows key. So I received it that way too. Okay, so we got off topic a little bit. We're going back to Raze's build. Just looking at this, we're looking at a $1,400 price point around. We got a 12600K in here, Z690 board, okay. 16 gigabytes of RAM, 500 gigabyte drive. Oh, they already have some of these parts. They have the M.2, 16 gigs of RAM, okay, and the power supply. So that's fine. So we're looking at everything else. TD500, pretty solid case. Let's see. 3060 Ti, okay, that looks fine. I mean, in terms of this build, nothing to really nitpick at. Again, once you start going over $1,000, I think you would want a 1 terabyte drive in your system. 500 isn't bad by any means, but I don't know if you say you have your M.2 already. I don't know if this is the M.2 you were talking about. It's purchased. So you don't have any other drives. So this drive, even 500, starts filling up pretty quickly when you start considering games are 80 to 100 gigabytes. Okay, what's everyone's opinion on this? So anytime I see a build that has a i5 overclockable with the Z690 board or like a Z board, I feel like I personally wouldn't go for a middle ground. Like if I'm going to do a build, I'm either going to save money by going a locked motherboard with a 12400, which is still a very solid CPU that you can pair with the 3060 Ti, or I'm just going to go up to the 12700K because I'm spending $200+ on a Z690 board. Like, I've never really been a huge fan of the i5 unlocked processors because you're carrying a premium for like what is kind of considered a mid-range chip. It's an i5. Like, either go all the way, go i7K, and pair it with that Z690, or just save yourself money. Like, I don't know, what do you all think? That would be what my first thing when I look at this build. It's not a bad list by any means. Like, I mean, these are just the going prices for a 12600K and a Z690 motherboard. Just personally, I know that I wouldn't have a use for a 12600K really. Either a 12400 is going to satisfy me, or I'm going to go and get the benefits of like spending this extra money on the motherboard. The only reason I've done i5 unlocked is because I literally could not afford more at the time. So yeah, if you can't go 700K, that's fine. Everyone has whatever their budget is capped at. But what if you were able to shave off 70 bucks off the motherboard and shave off 80 bucks off the processor? You're saving $150, which is more than 10% of the build price. Now, I'm not saying that there's no use case for a 12600K, and by getting the Z690, you do set yourself up for an upgrade to like either an i7 or an i9 even unlocked processor down the road. But just looking at this, like the i5K processors always seemed a little bit overpriced given the options around it, in my opinion. But let's see. After going with the 6600K back in 2016, wouldn't do an overclockable i5 again. Let's see. The last i5 that I had was overclockable was I think the 6600K. Yeah, because afterwards, like 8400 was very solid. 10400 is very solid. 12400 is very solid. Okay, and then the cooler too. There's something to be said about the money that you could save on the cooler. If you go with the 12400, you can stick a $40 air cooler in it. It's gonna look fine. It's gonna perform well. But right now we're paying double the price of a cooler too, just so that we have the, cooling capacity. Other than that though, honestly, this list, there's no glaring issues with it. I'm being nitpicky here because I don't want to just say, oh yes, this is a list of all modern day parts. This looks fine. Like I'm trying to be nitpicky here, but the advice can be taken with a grain of salt. You have your own use cases. If you are a person who is into overclocking and wants to play with overclocking and see value in it, and you see value in getting a Z690 now because you can't afford a 12700K or a 12900K, but one day thinks like you're gonna upgrade to that, then this is just fine. But yeah, I think just a little bit more storage, maybe more RAM, and then just the processor thing. I think the AIO is an aesthetic pick. Maybe get white RAM if you're getting a white PC. Yeah, so aesthetically, which we haven't even talked about yet, what does... Let me see if we can find a picture. If we put all black parts into a white build, what does it look like? This is kind of what it's going to end up looking like. It doesn't look horrible, but honestly, for me, when I see white builds, it's nice when you can get more of the components inside to match, and it's not just a white case, and like everything else is black. Yeah, so RAM is one area you can get. Graphics card is going to be harder to get white. And the cooler, you already have white, so you're fine there. But motherboard's also a hard one to get white unless you're willing to pay a premium. But yeah, I give my thoughts about this. It's fine as it is, but in terms of changes, I would do 1 terabyte here, 32 gigabytes here, and then potentially change this out if you're not dead set on it. The 12600K. I turned into a PC. But yeah, thanks for the submission. Next we have Bubble Tea Builds. Bubble Tea Builds, are you in the chat right now? I hope you are. Are you under Bubble Tea Builds or a different name? Because I don't remember seeing Bubble Tea Builds in the chat, but I do have a horrible memory, so I apologize for that. But this is your Weeby setup. And I know you are a Jawa user, and you are a pretty active Jawa user, and I am going to be working with Jawa in the future, so don't worry about that RGB swap ad. I am for competition between platforms as well, because the better rates the platforms can give sellers, the better it is for everyone. Dilly Tran. Okay, you are Bubble Tea Builds. Gotcha. So yes, I am very aware of who you are. But let's look at your Weeby setup. You got a 10700K 6700XT PC, L-shaped $50 desk. Is this a glass desk? Is this very similar to the glass desk that I used to have when I started the channel out? L desks are, though. I got an L desk right now. Like my current setup is an L desk. It is an L standing 2-part desk, but L desk, oh man, they fill up corners so nicely. But let's take a look at your setup. Okay, it's a cheap wood, so let's see. You got a Higo mouse mat and Logitech Pro mouse. You got a Snowball mic. I started on the Snowball, so I have lots of love for that. It's a good budget mic. And then we have an An Pro 2-in-1, 144 hertz, 144p, 31 point. Okay, so you have a basically a 32-inch monitor. So this is your setup. So I remember I did a cable management video. It's kind of hard to do cable management. I guess you don't have a glass desk, so you could drill stuff under here. You could get one of those cheap IKEA Signum racks, because those are like 10 to 15 bucks. Those can hold a lot on them, and you can lift your cables up. When I look at messy setups, I get a little happy inside. I don't just instantly go to like negative critiquing, because a messy setup means that it is a used setup. Like, this is a thoroughly used computer desk setup, and they have stuff all over the place. So messy is not always a bad thing. When, like, my own setup, you want to see what my setup looks like right now? This is what my desk looks like. You see, let me make sure there's no important information there. Look, this is what the front of my desk looks like right now. If I were to submit this to a PC setup showcase, look at that. People are gonna roast me for that. But you know what? It works. I am running the stream. The stream is going perfectly. You can't even see it in the shot, you know? So, going back to the setup, Dillytran, aka Bubble Tea Builds. I don't have a problem with how messy it is. I think it has character. Let's see. You got some Funko Pops randomly up top here. If I were to... Let's get... So, there's the praise. I like to give both praise and try to, like, give constructive criticism if possible. So let's see. What are we gonna look at here? In terms of if I were to do anything to try to clean this up, first of all, I'm gonna roast you for submitting a vertical. You submitted a vertical picture. Could you not have turned your camera sideways so we can get... Like, we don't need to see this wall space up here. It would have been nice to see your setup at a better, you know, filling up the sideways space. But anyways, I digress. Your build, I'm curious, does your top of your case not have any ventilation? Like, is there no exhaust fans? Because you have all the stuff up here. I would assume that might be blocking your exhaust. But if that's not the case, and you only have a front to back intake exhaust setup going, then you're fine there. The desk mounts, the mic mount is going on the front. I would probably move that to the back if the arm could still reach the front. I know the monitor could get in the way, but or maybe you can mount it on the side. It looks like you have a technical mesh chair, which I am a big fan of tech mesh chairs. So otherwise, I mean, this is your setup. A little bit messy, but I've seen way worse, and what matters is you have a working setup that works to you. Thanks for the submission. I do appreciate it. And thanks for all the love in the chat, you know, chat and coming to the streams all the time and stuff, Dilly. I really do appreciate that. Okay, let's see. Oh my goodness. I feel bad because there's no way we can get through all of these tonight. But we got to move on though, because we have way more to go through. So we got 1080p, aka It's Nate, with their build. My tired build needs an upgrade. So this is It's Nate, aka 1080p, depending on which account they're on at a given time. Okay, so this is their build. Very clean. Whoa, what case is this? Man, you don't see... Wait, what case is this? Do we have another picture of it? Let's see if we can see in here. The case is the... Oh, okay, so it's the Fantex Enthoo Pro. So it's not super old, but it's been a while since I've seen a case with like hard drive trays in the front, or hard drive bays rather, and all this in the front. This is something that's kind of gone away, as people don't need as many drives nowadays, companies are moving this into like the power supply basement and leaving room for like, I don't know, bigger radiators in front or something like custom loop reservoirs and things like that. But okay, very clean looking build from 1080p. So here's the specs. He's okay. Nate's acting like my tired build needs an upgrade. When he has a 3700X, which is fine, on an X570 board, 32 gigs of RAM, that all looks fine and dandy. So the only thing that looks kind of dated in here is the GTX 1080, even though it's not a horrible card. You could keep the 3700X or upgrade it to like a 5th gen, because you have an X570 board. Nate is a computer guy. He already knows all this, so he's just sharing this for us all to see. But yeah, I'm curious what he's gonna be upgrading to from this 1080. Everything else in the build looks pretty solid. He's got 3 terabytes of solid state storage split across the M.2 drive as well, or a NVMe drive, as well as the 2.5 inch kind of older SSD. But yeah, I'm very curious what Nate's gonna upgrade to. The rest of the build can harbor a very nice graphics card. You could just slap a 3070 or even a 3080 in here and still run this build as is. But very clean looking. Thanks for the submission, Nate. Okay, so moving on. David Ward says, here's his build. Trays are completely removable. Even the whole bracket is. Okay, so I'm guessing you're using them, Nate. Let's see. So here's the setup from David Ward. We've got a Ryzen 2600, which is getting kind of old by now. Some Asus motherboard, not sure of it. 32 gigabytes of white Pro. I'm guessing that's Corsair Vengeance Pro. You got 3070 Ti. Okay, so what should I upgrade my CPU to? I'm curious what motherboard this is. Hopefully it's not like an A320 board. But assuming it's at least B450, I would... Or B450, it's probably the right range here. You could support newer Ryzen chips in it. The Ryzen 5600 would be a 2-gen, like, generational leap for you. Because you had the 3600, which came after this, and then the 5600X, which is a little bit overpriced, given that the 5600 recently got released. That is a $200 CPU, I believe. Let's see if they can actually hold the price. So we were to look... Oh, come on. $230? That's not what we like to see. Wait, are there any 2600 or 5600s for sale right now? 5600X. Or am I confusing the release date and those aren't actually out for sale yet? We have 5600G... 5600X. So that would be the bare minimum that I would upgrade to. I wouldn't even bother with anything Ryzen 3000. Because that's only one generation. So at the bare minimum, a $200, depending on what your budget is. If you have enough, like a lot of chat is saying, go 5800X. You have a 3070 Ti. That is a very powerful graphics card. And you have 32 gigs of RAM already. The rest of your system is set up. Depending on what your motherboard is, please don't have like an A320. But, yeah, you can go anywhere as cheap as a $200 5600 up to, how much our 5800X is going for? Or 5800X rather. I wouldn't really bother with the 5600X. It would either be going 5600 or 5800X are still So it's not double the price, but it's going 340 right now. So you're looking at 340 if we can find the 5600 in the next however many days. 5800X in the cart. You can't go wrong with it. You're not building this from like scratch. Though 5800X 3D might drive the... Wait up. It's in your cart, but hold up. Let me see if the... What is the X3D going for? Okay, that's going for 420. Nice release date. Okay, so this is really expensive. But what I'm saying is, When is the 5600 release date? And I'm not saying to buy the 5600 if you have more to spend. They're expected to be released on April 4th. I can't find it anywhere though. We're past April 4th. Are they just sold out? Yeah, what program do you guys use to find out your motherboard? I don't know of any off the top of my head, because actually, I guess Hardware Info probably tells you. But what I'm saying is, you have a working system right now. I can't find the release date. I can't find it on sale anywhere. But this is what I'm saying. You have the 5800X in your cart. We might see a price drop in the next week or two. Can you wait for the price drop? Because if you can, it might be 300 bucks. Or if you don't care about 30 bucks over the course of a week or two, then yeah, you can buy the 5800X right now. But AMD is releasing, or kind of re-releasing, doing like a derivative release, whatever you want to call it. They're releasing processors. Usually we see price drops on previous or existing products when they have new releases, even though we're still in 5th gen. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I guess that would be my only input to that. What color shirt are you wearing? I'm wearing green, which is why I'm invisible. It looks like an A320 because of the RAM. Yeah, so if we were to zoom in, it's kind of hard to tell. Let me copy this image and we can try to zoom in and play some detective work. Find out what board you have though before you stick in like a Ryzen 7 that might like overheat it. Okay, just looking at this board, it looks like a pretty bare board. I'm not seeing like any noticeable VRMs. The chokes on here look just, yeah. I'm just seeing like bare capacitors and chokes. There are some B450 boards that do look this bare, but there are more like A320 boards that look like this. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant to recommend a 5800X, though depending on the board, I think Hardware Unboxed has even put in like Ryzen 9s into A320 boards, and yeah, it runs hot, but it still runs. So yeah, definitely finding out the board would be important. Also, consider the price may change in the next week or two. You have a working system, you're hopefully not dying for the CPU upgrade, and you could wait a little bit longer. Remember, it's different when you don't have a system, but when you have one that's up and running and is completely usable, then you can start being more patient to wait for the deals. David Ward says, I'm going to buy a new motherboard so I could start my second build. All I am missing it for the motherboard and CPU. Alright. Let's see. Oh, system information is built into Windows 10? I have never used it for that. Yeah, if you can, but you're buying a new motherboard anyway, so have you considered Intel? After everything we've talked about. Yeah, I feel like Intel is definitely caught up in terms of the competition. Ryzen has dominated for so long. A lot of people are feeling like they're kind of dropping the ball and kind of getting complacent. Intel builds are equally as viable, and if not, in some cases, depending on what you're using it for, better price to performance. But that's really up to you. We'll move on to the next one now. We're past 2 hours in the stream. We have so many more things to get through. I'm going to go through a few more quickly, and then we got to end the stream because it's dinner time. Let's see. So we've got Danny from SmoothAce23. My current gaming PC specs: 3900, 3080 Ti Gs. Okay, we got a beefy build here. And you got a Founders Edition 3080 Ti too. Okay, H100i Platinum cooler, 1TB SSD, all in the 4000X case. This is. Did they make custom? I think the only thing that looks weird to me, and it's not by any fault of Danny here, it looks. I know the Founders Edition cards required that custom adapter. Has there been any company that came up with extension cables or like sleeved cables for this? I would imagine they would have, because this build looks very solid, looks very clean. Nothing really sticks out to me more, especially for being a high-end build as this. The only thing is I'm going to critique it on is aesthetically. This right here looks odd. You're going from nice white sleeve cables into like that included NVIDIA adapter, which I personally think is kind of not the best looking thing. So like if they have like sleeved extensions for this, I would say that would make this build pop more. But other than that, very solid specs. Can't complain too much. I have no idea how much you paid for all this, but good build regardless. ZX QWERTY says RTX 4090 Ti, a 120 fan card. Are you talking about a 120 millimeter fan card? And also, if so, is that a thing? I have not been following up on news on graphics cards that have not come out yet. But if that's a confirmed thing, that's interesting. Okay, we got HD Bad Boys, Shane Baron 123. Alright, what is this? Okay, so I'm not really gonna look at this because they listed this. I don't know if they want my input on it. This is what they're planning on building. There's no pictures. So we're gonna go past this because we are in a time crunch. It is dinner time. Should I use an RTX 3050 for 380 or should I wait? No, you should not pay 380s Eternity Huge for a 3050. My system has a Ryzen 5600G. Okay, so you went the APU route, which isn't a huge deal at all. Well, that's the DMs. That was Mark. I thought it was someone. I don't think there was anything there, but that was like bad to see. But let's see. Your system has a 5600G, 16 gigs of RAM, still work in progress. You looked at it before. Okay, you have a system on a motherboard, so you saved on the case, which is like, hey, you gotta do what works. I would not buy a 3050 for 380. That's the first piece of advice. If you're dying for a graphics card, grab the 6600 for 370, 380 that we saw on stream earlier. But if you can wait even longer, those prices are probably gonna drop. Other than that, a 5600G, I've gamed on that before. It's not horrible to hold you over. It just depends on how impatient you are. So yeah, don't go. No, do not get this. That's my main piece of advice. Alright, moving on. Mark almost got doxxed. Yeah, hopefully, let me take a look real quick in the DMs. If Mark put his address, I would have felt so bad. Oh, okay, email. He needs my email address. He needs my email just to send me something for an upcoming... Actually, it's for the merch release. I'm going to be completely transparent with you there. But, okay. So, moving on to the next one. I'm going to have to cut it off at... Let's see. Oh, man. Some people have posted a lot. Here's my first PC setup build. Mess with the RGB. Okay, 6600 XT, 16 gigs of RAM, 1200 F. Okay, this is kind of... Oh. He deleted it and brought it back. 15 with no job, so it was rough getting the parts. I tried my best with cable management. Love the streams. From Kirkland. So, we have Ryan here, who is a local to Washington State. Arctic Eagle says, dinner is getting cold. I know, it is getting cold. Melissa hasn't popped into chat yet. When she does that, then you know I'm running super late. But, okay. So, Ryan is a local here in Washington State. 15-year-old. This is a very solid build for a 15-year-old, by the way. When I was 15, my build was nowhere near as nice or as nice to something equivalent as this. So, your specs looks very solid. Only 2 fans have RGB, which is not a huge deal. So you have your PC running on your case, dual monitor going on here. I don't want to dock, so we're going to quickly go off of this because there's a picture up here of you and somebody else, potentially your mom or someone. Here's you lounging, watching me live on stream. I would say this is a nice build and setup for a 15-year-old. Cable management, it looks like your RGB strip fell. Which is a problem with these RGB strips. The adhesive over time, especially with the light, the warm heat, they sometimes pop out of place. So then you just have to like put tape or something to hold that up. Cable management isn't horrible though. Looks like most of the stuff is hidden aside from a few loose cables, but very solid. Thanks for the support, by the way, just coming to stream and watching. Yeah, being 15, you have the rest of your life ahead of you. I'd say this is a very solid PC. Most 15-year-olds, I would say, would be envious of this build. So good job there, and thanks for the submission. Okay. Wait, did I do Ryan's build already? I think he submitted something earlier and then deleted it. Earlier, because he was at the beginning and then I think he deleted his post, so. Wait. See, Twitter's being weird right now. It's submitting stuff like this one was already submitted, so I gotta go past this one. This one doesn't exist. Help me pick a power supply in this build list. You got 12700K, Z690, Trident Z. Okay, so this build, you just want help picking a power supply. Can we add a power supply here? Okay, let's look at power supply. If you wanted a power supply, how many times did you submit? Here's the build and price I got them for. I'm planning to do soon. You got everything but I got them for. I'm planning to do soon. Okay, so you already bought the parts. You just need a power supply. Yeah, so you're running a 3080. Wow, 3080 12700K, pretty high end build. If you're going with a good, like a reputable brand for something like this, you have bought plenty of parts. You are looking for A tier power supply material here from the PSU tier list. So that's gonna be like Seasonic Focus, at least 750 watts. I would go with for a 3080 and a 1270K. A Seasonic Focus, a Corsair RM series power supply. There's a lot more A tier ones, but I think those two off the top. I've used them in multiple builds. They're usually priced pretty well. But anything from the A tier, the PSU tier list, would be good. I'm just trying to move fast, so I can't give a ton of advice right now as we're closing out the stream and we have tons of people still. So yeah, Seasonic Focus, Corsair RMX, or anything that you can find on A tier, go 750 watts. All right, so here's Maxros 2. We got GTX 1650 Super. You bought this for 300 bucks on OfferUp. This must have been at the peak of the pandemic, because I think those are going for less now. $50 A320 motherboard as expected, 16 gigabytes of RAM. They're G-Skill Ripjaws for 75 bucks. Ryzen 5 1600 for 120. So all the prices look fine. I think this is starting to go for like 100 or so though. The 1600. Most of it at Micro Center and a 512 gig. So prices, everything looks fine. Your build itself, cable management looks clean. Your power supply doesn't have clean looking cables. You got ketchup and mustard. You can't do anything about that. You did a good job, I would say. Cable management though, this is what I was talking about earlier with the fans. If they aren't already set up for you, you can set them up so that the cable coming off of it is as close to the over here as possible. But this is a Lian Li case with Lian Li fans, so it was probably installed like this already. But yeah, cable management looks clean. Nothing looks bad. Prices of everything you had looks fine. Here's your setup. I like your desk mat. I like these naturey forest ones. This looks like a desk mat from the game Firewatch, which has a lot of cool wallpapers. It's my own personal wallpaper on my computer, except in bluish teal theme. Oh, this is the Corsair. It's the 205. It's the 205, I believe. Either 205 or 205M, I forget. That looks like Micro ATX, so it might be the 205M. But very solid dual monitor setup. This is like a very budget setup. You got previous gen parts bought at budget prices, and you know, mismatching monitors, things like that. But I mean, it works. So thank you for submitting. Okay, that case is so overkill for this build. This one right here. I mean, this Lian Li case is only like 60 or 70 bucks. It's not that expensive. Iodon says, I have a secret way of getting old enterprise level servers between 8 to 32 cores between 2 CPUs. Can I show you? You mean show me personally or show on stream? If you submit it, I'll pull up your secret method, Iodon. But, okay. So we're gonna get to one more, and then we're gonna have to end the stream. Unfortunately, yeah. So we've got everybody who submitted over an hour ago. So these are all a little bit, like, later. So, again, we only have so much time. So we got Xcult with the Ryzen 5900X 3060 build. So this one is an interesting build. Huh. So let's take a look at this real quick. Let's see. So Ryzen 9 5900X 3060 16 gigs of DDR4. So there's a little bit of unbalanced in this build, and that's going to be that processor, though everything else could be easily brought up to par with it. So you've got a pretty expensive, like 500, I think that was $500+ when it was released. I don't know how much they're going for now. But you've got 16 gigs of RAM and a 3060. Those, I would say 16 gigs to 3060 is like kind of mid-tier components, mid-tier level. 5900X is definitely upper, like top tier, high-end parts. So you may have a use for it. Like, you may be doing things that are very CPU intensive that's not gaming, so it could be justified. But definitely I feel like whatever you're doing, if it's that CPU intensive, it could also be equally RAM intensive. So not seeing 32 gigabytes in here looks a little odd, but if it works for you, then by all means. You got a 2 terabyte SSD, 8 terabyte hard drive. Yeah, so you've got pretty banging specs here. You're 14 and 14 and have been working on it for a bit. How did you, I'm curious, if you're in chat still, how did you get the money for this? And if it's your parents bought it for you, do not be ashamed if your parents are nice enough to like buy you PC parts. Especially if you're like a good kid, you're a good student, etc. Like, if your parents can afford it and they want to treat you either for your birthday, or if they want to buy you something nice because you've done well in school and reward you, it's fine. You're 14. I am very impressed by a 14-year-old having this specs and this PC. Xcult says he has a job, or they have a job. I'm not sure if it's a he or she. But Xcult or XZCult has a job. So yeah, I mean, a build like this, I don't know how much you paid for it. It could have been anywhere in the ballpark of like $1,500 to $2,000, depending on what you got everything priced out at, new or used. But yeah, a 14-year-old, if you have a job, you can save up for this, and this is very attainable. Some people's parents don't like them having jobs because they want them to focus on school and stuff. But the fact that you worked for this and bought this, I am very impressed. We don't see many stories like this. Usually when it's the younger viewers, it's more of the budgety, like lower cost stuff. So, I mean, good job on this build, honestly. Like, in terms of specs, you did a good job. You said you've been working on it, and I'm sure, like, as you save more money, you can eventually upgrade the RAM to get more. You do have open slots for it, it looks like. You only have 2 sticks in here, so you can get a matching pair to get up to 32. And then the graphics card, over time, you can eventually get rid of that, sell it, take that money, put a little bit more, get a better one to match better. But, let's see. Yeah, very good job. And I think with that, we gotta end the stream. I've been going for over 2.5 hours now, which is crazy. I need to be more mindful of, oh man, see, I've been talking so much, my lips have been getting so chapped. I made sure to moisturize before streaming. My lips were not this chapped, but because I have not been drinking water, and I've been talking, so all the air coming out of my mouth is drying out my lips. Yeah, I need to be better about moving through the submissions. I am very aware of that. Like, Tavian, I'm so sorry. I had to end on yours, but I have to end the stream. So please, if you're here next week or in following weeks, resubmit again. I would love to look through everything. It's just, you know, there's only so much I could do. Let's see. Yeah, Tavian, I'm sorry. It sucks to be the person that just gets cut off, but I don't like play favors or favorites or anything here. I'm literally going by whoever submitted it first. and then I can only get through so many at a given time. Let's see. The Walrus said, so now I'm just going to hang out with chat because I do realize that during stream, I can only split my attention so much between whatever activity we're doing and on the chat. But I do want to now give undivided attention to chat. So we're not doing any more like advice or anything like that. We're just hanging out with chat, seeing what people say. So yeah, definitely please submit again next week. I'm sorry we couldn't get to everything today. The Walrus 1407 says, as a 34-year-old neo-boomer man, does that mean I'm a neo-boomer? Because I guess I'm turning 33 this year. Not quite 34, but turning 33. That works hard. Wait, that works hard. This is such a cool channel. Oh, I'm all reading it as like multiple sentences. As a 34-year-old boomer, neo-boomer that works hard, this is such a cool channel to watch. Your kids can do it. Work hard. Oh, you kids can do it. Work hard and build your PC. Apparently, I cannot read right now. Washington State local as well. Walrus, where are you from in Washington, by the way? Always love seeing local support. But yeah, definitely. The hardest part is when people, like their parents don't let them work, then that's a really tough spot to be in when you want to build your own computer. But if you're able to work, do chores around the house, wash your neighbor's car, mow their lawns, if that is a way that you can work and save up money, definitely go ahead and, you know, save up for your PC. Birthday money is sometimes a thing. If you're fortunate enough to have relatives give you, you know, $100 here, $50 there for your birthdays and holidays, you can save that for your PC as well. But yeah, thanks for the kind words, Walrus. You need a command to remind you to drink water. Do I need a water drinking emote that people can spam in the chat to remind me to drink water? I will get an emote made of my avatar drinking water if that helps me out, and if you all will keep me like in check and make sure I drink water throughout stream, because as you probably saw, I barely took any sips of this water. But for now, a water glass would be enough to help. So yeah, John Ginnell, what's up? Thanks for the kind words. Drebler Gaming 1v1 me in Melee, best of 5. Winner, wait, best of 5 what? Get passwords to the channel. We still gotta do that though, Jason. Loser of the match has to buy one Steam game for one of the viewers in chat when we do a 1v1 melee. I don't think we can fit into this stream though. We're out of time and we gotta get that set up. But I will DM you about that in a future stream. Okay, hydrate. Yes, definitely hydrate. I definitely need to hydrate. Samuel Navarro says, how is your day going? My day is going great. I'm a little bit hungry because I did not finish my pre-stream snack / meal. It's all dried up and crusty now, so I'll go microwave this as soon as stream ends. But stream was pretty good. We covered a lot of stuff, looked through people's submissions and helped some people out, so hopefully that was helpful. Stream was lit again this week. It's like lit every week, so I'm very happy to the like status the stream has gotten to now. But we are just toning down right now and just about to sign off soon. Mount Lake Terrace High School. Okay, Snohomish, fire and safety job. Got it, Mount Lake Terrace. So you, as you may not know, I'm in Lynnwood. I'm just like not too far north of you. So yeah. It's Nate says, babysit other people's kids. It's fun. You get paid tons because some people are just grateful to have a night off. As a dad, I totally get that. Yeah, so babysitting. I have never babysat before. So, some more, like to give, like, some more information about myself. My mom was one of those super strict Asian parents. I'm talking straight A's. If you get a B, we're definitely talking about why you got that B and not an A. Very stereotypical Asian parent that was an immigrant, came over, not speaking a word of English, worked minimum wage jobs her entire life, wanted me and my brother to do well. She's that type of parent. So she did not allow my brother or I to work when we were in high school. She thought academics was way more important, which I'm not sure if I completely agree with, because there is a lot of lessons and value to be learned out of like hard work. But that was just the way it was in her household. So we were not allowed to work, but she rewarded us periodically, not all the time because we weren't rich, she rewarded us with, at the time it wasn't a gaming computer because I wasn't really into computers and they were really expensive, but like for buying video games and stuff, she didn't give us an allowance. She didn't let us work, but if we did well in school, she would buy us games from time to time. So I understand some people are in those situations, and in that situation, it is so hard to convince a parent to drop $500 to $1,000 on a PC build. And if you can't get a job, then there's no way you can pay for it. So there are a lot of people stuck in like this area where a PC is not achievable for them. All I can say is, if you're in that case, prove to your parents to the best of your ability that you are somehow deserving of that PC. Some parents just don't get that though, and they just think like you deserve nothing in life, which I don't really understand. Like, when you choose to have a kid, I understand if you don't make a lot of money, but having kids is like such a huge life-altering decision that I just feel like it sucks if you bring someone into this world and you cannot take care of them. And that's no shade thrown to anyone who can't and are like in bad financial situations, because crap happens and it's just real. But yeah, I do feel for people who can't like be fortunate enough to enjoy, you know, what I feel a kid should enjoy, like gaming and like PC gaming and console gaming and stuff like that. So sorry, we just got a little deep there. We just talked about some more serious topics, but there was like a kind of like a lesson behind it, kind of. New Father's Well, so cool, dude. Okay, Walrus, that's very cool. So you probably enjoy it when you see places in my videos, like when I meet at Alderwood Mall or like the Home Depot in Everett, when you see places that are recognizable to you in the videos, right? But yeah. Corona Astro says, will you review Instagram submissions? I could do that, though I think it would be a little bit harder to do. I'm not opposed against it. It's just I use Twitter way more than I do Instagram. I'll look into it. Let me write that as a note for future streams. It's just Twitter is just so easy, even though there's a character limit. I wouldn't be opposed to it though. What ethnicity are you? I'm half Japanese and my mom's full. Okay, so you have like a Japanese mom and then some other ethnicity. So I haven't shared my ethnicity on stream or to YouTube. I keep it a mystery, but some people can figure it out. Some people can't. It's not like the information is online, but I've never like openly said what my ethnicity is, and I keep it ambiguous just because I think it's kind of a fun mystery. I like to see what people guess. People guess all different types, but I don't think it's important to the content I make or who I am as a person. So that's why I don't publicly share it. But if people figure it out, like, it's not the end of the world either. So one of your friends works at Alderwood Mall, lol. Yeah, Alderwood Mall is where we go to in terms of like, I live the closest to that. So yeah, I'm there often. Christopher Coonan says, I love seeing the places I recognize in videos. Yeah, and I try to make it a point of doing that when I can, like for local meetups and stuff. Like when I'm driving down, if I can get shots of Seattle, that's great too. So, Samuel Navarro says, I really look up to you. Can you please respond to this message? So one thing that I feels weird about is like when people say things like, I look up to you, because I am just a normal person. Like, I have this channel and stuff like that, but please do not hold me on like a super high pedestal. I think hold me to like standards in terms of like being authentic, and hold me to standards of being genuine and stuff like that, but do not look at me any higher than that to the point where you want me to read a comment and ask for it. I feel that's a little bit weird, but there you go. Kevin Ngo says, be it represent. Yes, Kevin Ngo is like the biggest Vietnamese, or biggest telling of the Vietnamese, because of that NG at the front there, which a lot of people can't pronounce right. Danny, what if they legitimately look up to you? Like they are shorter. If they legitimately physically look up to me because they are shorter than me, then they are, that's fine. Yeah, Henry Nguyen says he is Vietnamese. Am I though? How do you know? Let's see. Yo, I know you're about to end stream, but tag you in a tweet showing you my first build. If you could give me an opinion, it'd be very nice. CRXTI, can you please submit it next week? Like early on. If you are active in... I just... It's only fair to reward the people who are active in stream and submit when I say so. So I can't skip around, sorry. How tall am I? Says Sean Carter. So I'm 5'6", which I think I've talked about in previous videos. Yeah, I'm not that tall. I'm 5'6", and I'm like not embarrassed or anything about my height being out there. So a lot of people are taller than me, but in relation, like Melissa's 4'10". Like in the desk setup video, I show our heights next to each other. So yeah, I'm not a tall person at all. What do I think of Intel Arc? I don't have much to think about it, except for it's good that Intel is releasing a GPU or releasing GPUs into the market for competition. In terms of performance-wise, I don't know enough about it. I haven't been reading up on the rumors either. 410, does she have a handicap placard? No. So there's a thing about like, when you're under a certain height, you can get the handicap thing, right? But I think it's different for if you are 4'10 and you're just short versus if you're 4'10 and you have some form of like dwarfism. Which I think it would be very dishonest to get a handicap placard for her height because she does not have, like, she's, you know, not a dwarf or anything like that. But yeah. Oh wait, I'm 5'5", turning 5'6", yeah. Epic Gamer says, any advice on business advice on starting computer repair? No, honestly, I'm not a person to go to for business advice because I'm still navigating the whole business side of things on YouTube myself. All I can say is if you are to open any business, and this is very generic advice, but I try to hold myself true to this as well. If you open up a business, first make sure you're doing it for the right thing, not just for the money, because if you're doing it for the money, you might learn to hate it after the fact. And if you hate your job, it is really hard to do a good job at something you hate versus something you love doing. So first, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Second of all, be fair. Treat your customers how you would like to be treated or better. Yeah, just don't price gouge even if you can and make a profit and stuff like that. If you are honest and you give good prices, you'll have returning customers, they will refer you more, things like that. Just be as honest as you can and don't be greedy. I know it's very generic advice, but I'm not a businessman, so I don't have much more than that. Alright, so yeah, we are almost 3 hours in the stream. I gotta end the stream. Thank you for the very successful stream tonight. We've had over 100 viewers. We were up to like 100, over 150 earlier. Tons of support, tons of people in the chat, tons of people helping out. Thank you for making these streams as successful as they are. I'm gonna go have dinner, but merch release, I'm aiming for the end of this week. Melissa is flickering on the lights because it is almost 8 p.m. my time and I'm still streaming. So I'm gonna go have a bite. Everyone have a great rest of your night. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video and or stream drop. Take care. Bye-bye. I am done. Oh, did she? She found the almonds?